skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
You started your business to build something special. Now it's time to grow and protect it. At Pinnacle Bank, our treasury management services help you do just that. Through smarter payment technology, account administration, and fraud protection. So no matter the size of your business, you can get the most out of your financial operations. Request your free consultation at pinbank.com/consult. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Nebraskans love beef, but they love bison too. Tetmar Buffalo produces and sells all-natural, grass-fed bison meat from here in Nebraska. Never had bison before? Call or text Trent at 402-875-1198 to place an order or learn more about Tetmar Buffalo. There's nothing like a good local sandwich shop, and that's exactly why Sid's Deli and Subs is here in Lincoln. Stop by Sid's on the south side of 33rd and Cornhusker for fresh cut meat and cheese on fluffy, fresh bread. Sid's Deli and Subs open 10:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. on the weekdays and 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the weekends.
Why did Pete Ricketts spend millions to get himself appointed to the U.S. Senate? Ricketts knows D.C. is pay to play. Since going to D.C., Ricketts has increased his net worth almost 30%. He voted to lower his own taxes and made a killing dumping shares before a looming government shutdown. Meanwhile, he's opposed every serious attempt to ban congressional stock trading. Nebraskans can't afford lawmakers enriching themselves while our costs go through the roof. Tell Senator Ricketts to support the Ban Congressional Stock Trading Act now. This communication paid for by Nebraska Groundswell.
Some moments deserve more than ordinary jewelry. At Sartor Heyman, we've helped Lincoln celebrate life's biggest occasions for over 120 years. With quality craftsmanship, timeless gifts, and diamonds you can see from across the room. From our exclusive Heartland collection to custom design pieces, every detail is made with care by experienced jewelers you can trust. Whether you're celebrating love, family, milestones, Sartor Heyman has a gift for every occasion in life.
Looking for the right utility tractor for your acreage? Find it at Landmark Implement. Shop our selection of used John Deere compact tractors from 1 through 5 series with the power and versatility to track mowing, yard work, snow removal, and more. For a limited time, get 2.9% financing for 36 months, followed by 6.2 for 24 months with approved credit. We've got the right fit for your property and your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or visit us online at landmarkimp.com today and experience the Landmark difference.
When your business is ready for its next move, I'm here to help make it happen. I'm Corey Vandeweghe, Commercial Loan Officer at Midwest Bank on 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Lincoln is full of bold ideas and hardworking business owners, and I'm proud to support the people driving that progress. Whether you're launching something new or investing in growth, I'll work with you to find lending solutions that move your business forward. Swing in anytime. I'd love to hear what you're building. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Hey Husker fans, Coach Amy Williams here, thanking you so much for your support of Nebraska women's basketball. Season tickets go on sale August 17th, and we want you at PBA with us as we take the next step forward as a program. Our Huskers are hunting a school record-tying 4th straight NCAA tournament bid, and we want you there with us every step of the way. Get your season tickets at Huskers.com and let's win the day at PBA. Go Big Red.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, 2-time national champion with Window World Lincoln. Are you ready to transform your home? We offer exceptional replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing that will elevate your home's curb appeal and value. As a nationally known, locally owned business, we treat you like family and work tirelessly to deliver the best for less. Don't wait to give your home the upgrade it deserves. Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or check out windowworldlincoln.com. Let's make your home the talk of the neighborhood.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Führer's cheese spread. So he left it once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped and picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Hour 1 of Old School is sponsored by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. It is Old School on a Monday. Students blocking down 11th Street, right past the corner of 11th. Now, where we're at on 93.7 The Ticket. Austin Norman, Jay Foreman with you. 3 hours of Old School to go here on a Monday. Kickoff inching ever closer. An overcast Monday, but the sun is about to be shining on football season. It's week 0, Jay Foreman. We have actual college football games this week.
Yeah, man.
We're here.
Hey, that's awesome. Anytime real football starts, it's all good. It's been, obviously
so you NFL guys are just playing fake football in the preseason?
Some of them are playing dress up, but I was going to say that anytime you have football, it is good. So it's but this is when you're playing for keeps. Where the preseason now is just like I don't even call it a glorified scrimmage, just kind of a kumbaya, and let's see who can flash a little bit.
Harrison Butker flashed in that Nebraska reunion yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Josh Dobbs flashed the wheels.
Yo, he's pretty old though.
Yeah,
and he's probably easy. Josh Dobbs, Kirk Cousins looks like Poindexter with the flannel shirts and stuff, and he's very smart. There's no doubt in my mind, Josh Dobbs is the smartest quarterback in the league.
Only because Mr. Harvard Ryan Fitzpatrick is out of the league.
No, I'll still give it to Josh Dobbs. He's some sort of like...
Oh, yeah, he's like that aerospace engineer.
Engineer. That's right. Yeah, and graduated in 2.5 years. Right. Went back before you couldn't take college credits in high school. Yeah, he's pretty dang smart and pretty fast.
He's smart enough to know that being a backup quarterback in the NFL is the life.
Well, just do it. I mean, look, he already has done what he needed to do. Why not just keep getting paid?
Heck yeah.
It's like, was it Samuel Occo that played for the Packers? Remember him? He was a running back and I think he was a free agent, ended up playing 6 years. Now he's like some neurosurgeon and stuff like that. So yeah, like I said, my brother played, football. He's a doctor. He got look. He got
some of you football players go to school to play school and football.
Yeah, he was doing it. Yeah, so he took the hard route. But yeah, I mean that's the couple of those preseason games for those high priced rookies were not as fruitful as some of the teams would like. I mean, my man Sonny Styles. I compare him right now. Hopefully, in his case, hopefully he ends up being like the guy I'm gonna talk about. I compare the way he's looked in the preseason, and putting some stuff up on my YouTube about him and just linebacker play, but him in particular. This is why you can't fall in love, and this is also in college too. So these college coaches, this is why you can't fall in love with measurables. Now, I think he was a very, very productive player, really, really, really good player at Ohio State. I think. With Matt Patricia, I think they played to his strengths. And then you had Reese as well. I mean, they had, dudes around there. So you were able and then Caleb Downs behind. So you really just had 3 X factors at the second and a half level with Caleb Downs. But man, Detroit, even though Ben Johnson is in Chicago, they really try to put him in a spin cycle. And it's good for him to see it. But there's a lot of little things that even though he is, by the metrics, probably the most athletically gifted linebacker in the league, and maybe in quite some time. 6'5.5" and jumped 40 something and ran 4.3 or whatever he ran. It still comes down to fundamentals. And if you don't win before the snap is the ball snap, You ain't got a chance, man, or you won't reach your peak. And that's why on that play with Josh Downs, he that was right at him, right?
Uh-huh.
And I know what it's like when oh damn, and he couldn't catch Josh Downs, Josh Dobbs. Yeah,
He was
so it's
moving.
yeah, fresh legs. That's what I would say. That's fresh legs.
Speaking of the quarterback position, we do have the breaking news from the Cleveland Browns. We will get to that later in the show. They haven't named their starter. We'll keep that on the back. It was 15 minutes ago. 15 minutes ago, they named the starter. We will keep you in suspense for that as we move throughout the show. 402-464-5685 if you want to be a part of the show. Neil, you are trying to spoil it, so good thing our text line is not public unless we bring it to air. Thomas and Lincoln, all caps, yes, football. We are there. We are about 2 weeks away, a little less than 2 weeks away from Nebraska football getting things kicked off against Ohio. Jay, let's go ahead and hear from Nebraska head coach Matt Rule. Spoke over the weekend. Lots to get to. Lots that Matt Rule addressed. Starting with the quarterback position. Anthony Calandra, quarterback one. What does he do well? Here's Matt Rule.
Yeah, Anthony would play for us right now. All the quarterbacks have done a nice job. Anthony, I think the biggest thing is he's very competitive, very fiery. He expects to win every play, and he's done a nice job of disciplining himself to also take what's there, and makes nice checks in the run pass game, can throw the ball deep. And I think the biggest thing is he extends a ton of plays with his legs, which takes a lot of pressure off of the offensive line and the backs in protection and puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
Pretty typical stuff you'd expect to hear about a starting quarterback and why Nebraska went to get him. But I think what stood out to me from that quote, Jay, he's competitive and he's fiery. That's not a shot at any other quarterback, but I think when those are the traits that stand out, having a gamer, right, a competitive guy there at quarterback, of course, a head coach should say that and should see that in his starting quarterback. But to lead with he's competitive, to lead with he's fiery, you hope that means that comes out on the field, right? And maybe is some more of that positive emotional spark that Nebraska might need sometimes from that position.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that you want to have. I mean, he said he expects to win every play, and so hopefully, it's infectious, right? So you want, him to be not only demanding of himself and have high expectations and be competitive. Hopefully that just goes through the whole, offensive team and, ideally through the whole team. So, I think that's one of the things that, that's probably stood out since he's been here. He has he's a smaller guy. And so he's had to, probably find ways to, be successful. He's a really good athlete. And so he plays to his strengths and he goes out there and just, and wings it. And so the best thing or the biggest thing that he has to do is make sure that, he continues to be more efficient. And that's the turnover, the touchdown to turnover, the turnover battle with him. And then that'll make the offense better. And then they'll just be better, as a whole.
Obviously, there's 105-ish players on that roster in that locker room. Starting quarterback is going to get a lot of headline, going to get a lot of buzz. He's responsible for his, 1% of the locker room. But it seems like the quarterback position, Jay, obviously has an outsized role, right? We talk a lot about the leadership qualities and what a quarterback needs to demonstrate. Obviously, Anthony Calandra coming in as a transfer, right, with a few years of experience. He's been around the game, right? He should know how to command a locker room, command a huddle. How much of that competitiveness and that fire comes out across the team, right? How much are people in the locker room watching QB1 for guidance? Is that overstated by people that aren't in the locker room? Is the quarterback's importance to kind of that emotional center of the team overstated, understated, properly stated?
Well, I think it's properly stated because, look, he's the face of the program, or, his name is going to be mentioned almost in every article, win or loss. They're going to talk about Nebraska, and then they're going to go right to offense. His name's going to be there. So, how he approaches everything on a day-to-day basis and, game-to-game basis is huge for any team. And, that's why you get paid the most. That's why you get the most credit. And fortunately and unfortunately, that's why you get the most, I guess, standard is a little bit higher. And some people, your expectations are real high. And there's nothing wrong with that. And so, look, I think when you have a tempo setter at the most important position, I think it's really good. And if you have a coach and the player are in sync, he believes in the quarterback. He knows that, what he gets from him. Because you can coach to his strength. You can kind of go through the process with him, and they're willing to go through it with you as well. And that's also holding him accountable, telling him, when he does really well, when he doesn't do well, and obviously everything in between. And he accepts it, and then he excels in it. That's what's going to, the rest of the team is going to see how you coach him. Now, also there's some self-regulation there, and he's a little bit older. And so, the expectations of him from a maturity standpoint has to be there. He has to be mature. You're not a regular student athlete. You're not a regular guy on the team. You're the most high-profile guy on the team right now, and that's what it generally is at quarterback. You're the named the starter, and so now you got to perform accordingly.
How rare is it that a team is not led in that way by a quarterback? I think back to some of your teams and some of the conversations we've had on this show and others. Was Tommy Frazier the emotional center of that team? Was it Christian Peter? Who was it in '97? Was it Scott Frost? Someone else? Et cetera, et cetera. Those are two really high-profile quarterbacks. Put up some really good numbers at Nebraska. But I know you said those guys were leaders in their own way. But you almost got more of that kind of emotional leadership, like from Christian. I know you've said before.
Yeah, it was, we had a good combination of guys, and obviously, in '95, I was a little bit younger, and so, Christian, definitely was an emotional leader on the defense, but we had guys like Phil Ellis and Tony Veland. It was kind of like Christian was the apex from emotional, Phil Ellis, and it was probably in the middle, then Tony Veland was less, but then really one of the most moving pregame speeches was when Tony spoke to the team at times. So I think it's just a good mix. And then overall, obviously, T. Frazier was a guy that set the standard. If he didn't think that you were playing well on offense, defense, and special teams, he'll let you know. So, leadership is just a very unique thing. You got to be yourself, but then also you got to be able to get out of your comfort zone in order to do so. And then '97, Grant and Jason were, obviously probably the most two high profile players, our two best players, obviously, on defense. But then, Scott Frost was the quarterback. So when you look at it, I remember in '97, after we won, we were a defense led team, there's no doubt about it. But we had Amon. Amon was probably our third best player. Right. And obviously they're all great players. Right. So, we had Aaron Taylor and stuff. So we had some really great players, but when they panned after we won, it goes right to Coach Osborne and Scott Frost. So you necessarily don't have to be your best player. You're just going to be the most high-profile player, the person that they always go to based on you being the quarterback. Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to be selfless and be able to lead a bunch of men and get them to follow you. And then obviously you got to be able to, find your place in that pecking order. And it might switch, after every 3 games. Somebody might be able to take off. You got to be able to take a back seat and then obviously perform at a high level when need be.
We get this from 1562, going back to the quote that Matt Rule had on Anthony Calandria. How people interpret Rule saying the quarterback needs to bail out the offensive line and running back protection as a positive is beyond me. I guess it's just Kool-Aid season as usual. I don't think that's what Matt Rule was saying, but also breakdowns happen. We know Nebraska invested a lot in that offensive line. We know that Nebraska's running backs are a younger group in terms of their snaps on the field, but the other team's on scholarship too. Nebraska's going to face some dang good defensive lines. And guess what? They're going to whiff sometimes, right? Sometimes there's going to be a guy that gets in the backfield. Sometimes the corners are going to blanket Nebraska's receivers. It happens. The less consistently Nebraska gets beat up front, the less consistently Nebraska gets covered on the outside, obviously better for Nebraska. But, Jay, I think what Matt Rule was talking about is not saying the offensive line's in a bad spot or the running backs can't pass protect, but when it goes to hell in a handbasket, Calandria can still make something of it.
Oh, yeah, and then obviously you want to be a threat, as far as being able to, pick up first down or get explosive play with his legs, but then also explosive play or an efficient play with his arm. And so, that's where you can be really dangerous, where you can get defensive coordinators and defenses out of their their normal mindset is even say you have a really good, defensive plan or a defensive call and a rush, and a guy just, say like you're mush rushing, and so mush rush is like everybody's rushing, but you're obviously trying to cage the quarterback in. And let's just say a defensive tackle just gets one step too far inside or outside and somehow either gets, tied up or falls down. That doesn't necessarily mean that you got to scrap it. But when he starts making plays and you feel like you have a good call, and as me as a second level defender, I feel like I'm covering the guy for it seems forever, 5 or 6 seconds. Here comes Calandra, and he gets a 15, 20-yard run. Well, then maybe, a quarter and a half later, I come out of coverage and he pops over my head. There you go. You got a touchdown. That's, I think, what he's talking about, where, you can make something out of nothing. But when you do that, you have to have supreme mindset of, you actually got to be calculated, because when I feel like the best scramble guys, I call it pocket presence. Even guys, I always feel like the best throw of the football I ever played against and ever saw is Dan Marino. It is not even a question. It doesn't matter who you ask. He could throw the football. Now, he could move, especially in his younger years, before he got a lot of injuries, a lot better than people give him credit for as a pocket passer. But he had pocket presence. So what I mean by that is, when you step up in the pocket, you slide in the pocket, or when you decide to run, your ball security has to be at a premium, because you can't be loosey-goosey with it. You still have to have better fundamentals, because if you study how guys rush, you can really start to predict or calculate when you will be able to possibly run. So if you're going, okay, for instance, look, this flip on Nebraska, right? Like last year against Michigan. Nebraska ran a TE stunt, double TE stunt against Michigan. Underwood knew it, and he dropped back, five-step drop or whatever he was in the pistol, and was gone.
Hit that back foot.
Man to man. Guys at their backs to turn. That's one way you could calculate it. Or if you have a certain player that you start to, if you do enough scouting, both of yourself or in your game plan, say like there's a situation where he always seems to either get caught up in a stalemate. That means like he's not on the edge and he's not winning against a big offensive tackle, or he sometimes comes in. That's your escape route. Well, then that's something, once you escape route, that field becomes a lot more clear. And especially for a quarterback that's under 6 foot, you can definitely make some noise. And so that's where I think he could be really dangerous. And that's maybe what Coach was talking about.
When you say pocket presence too, it seems to me like pocket presence is knowing when to stand in the pockets to deliver that shot downfield, take the hit, which, I mean, I know your feelings on quarterbacks and they get hit nowadays, but to be able to stand in the pocket, give your receiver that extra step, that extra beat, versus understanding, hey, it's collapsing, or hey, here's where I step up, here's where I navigate this way. Pocket presence, I think, contains all of that.
Yeah, and I talk about the journey of David Carr, where I felt like he never got a chance to really learn that, right? Where you're constantly under pressure. So subconsciously, when you get in like year 2 or 3, soon as you feel or you perceive any pressure, you're gone. And then you run right into sacks. Well, as a receiver, I haven't even had a chance to win. So as an offensive coordinator, when you're watching the tape, and we saw this some last year, right? Where you're like, man, you know, this guy's open, or you kind of, you took off too early or held it on. I mean, I always feel like sacks are like, everybody should just come into the meeting rooms and do like this, because it's everybody's fault, right? And stop taking the easy route and always blame it on the quarterback or the offensive line. It's everybody's fault. But I just think that, pocket presence is knowing when to run, what type of running you're going to do, who you're running against. Because if you have, and I know like this year, there's a pretty good crop of linebackers throughout the whole Big Ten, not to the level like Ohio State had last year, but Penn State has some guys can roll. Michigan State does, so we'll see them. Maryland, so you have good second level defenders, and they're kind of more hybrids this year. Well, you better know who you're going against. That's at that second level, because you might get jiggy against like University of Ohio and Bowling Green and North Dakota. Well, look,
your first Big Ten game is against a team coached by an all Big Ten.
Yeah, but those guys can eat up that ground and eat up that space, and then next thing you know, you thought you were open. You thought you were going to give a guy an extra, step or two to get open. Well, now you're in panic mode, and that's where some unfortunate turnovers can go. So it's not just. I think sometimes people look at quarterbacks that can create and scramble, and this is nothing wrong with the average fan, that you just think it's like backyard football. The really, really good ones know exactly what they're doing and how they're doing. And I always go back to Russell Wilson. When he was in Seattle, when he was really rolling, and he didn't think he was he didn't think he was above the Seahawks. What they call him, dang Russell Wilson. He was dangerous because he could forecast when to run, how to run, and he throws an excellent deep ball, and he's athletic enough to outrun guys as well.
And there's, I'm sure, a fine line, too, between not pre-programming or trying to guess that this is the snap, but understanding, hey, here's the play call, give it a chance, internal clock, boom, gotta go.
And then, it takes a tremendous amount of studying. Like, you should study, obviously, when you're, the route tree and all that, or getting in and out of checks for a good, run game, or a run game against a certain defense. But you also have to look at it, okay, what would I do in this situation? Say you playing against a defense that has really good, coverage guys. You might have a good offensive call, right? Well, you're going to have to create separation by how you move in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to work on your eyes, and how you work on your eyes actually affects the second level as much as the third level. So if you can move that linebacker a little bit, it
creates your window,
but it also creates a scramble or run window as well. Because if I can move that second defender 2 or 3 yards to the left, you should be able to outrun him to get a crucial first down or a game-breaking touchdown or something like that.
That's a little bit from Matt Rule. We also heard, Jay, from Roy Manning and Rob Dvorak. Let's go to break. Let's talk linebackers at Nebraska. We'll do that in segment 2 of the show. Old School brought to you, as always, by Graham Tire Company, celebrating 75 years of serving the Midwest. More than just tires, they do all kinds of car and light truck repairs, too. From brakes to oil changes, trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. It's Graham Tire getting you to the places that matter most. Talking Nebraska football linebackers, talking depth charts as we roll on through Old School.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Meet your new obsession, the Amigos Crunchadilla. Not a burrito, not a quesadilla. The Crunchadilla is a salsa tortilla filled with a unique blend of quesadilla flavors, then crisped to perfection for a crunch you'll crave. Loaded with melty cheese, crispy tortilla strips, and of course, Amigos' famous ranch. Get your choice of 4 boldly flavored meats, like Southwest chicken or chorizo, all topped with bacon. Crispy, craveable, and made to crush your hunger. The Crunchadilla, only at Amigos. Amigos value meals are getting an upgrade with more of the bold, fresh flavors you love. Now we have 9 options for only $5, $6, or $7. With fries and a small drink, these are full meals for a small price. There's something for everyone with the new Chicken Ranchero Burrito or Quesadilla Snackers. Even Amigos favorites like the soft meat burrito or crisp pinto are now in value meals. With a deal this good, we'll be seeing you all the time at Amigos.
When your business is ready for its next move, I'm here to help make it happen. I'm Corey Vandeweghe, Commercial Loan Officer at Midwest Bank on 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Lincoln is full of bold ideas and hardworking business owners, and I'm proud to support the people driving that progress. Whether you're launching something new or investing in growth, I'll work with you to find lending solutions that move your business forward. Swing in anytime. I'd love to hear what you're building. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Building a new home can be a challenge, a lot of big choices. With our Remington homes, we have designed 15 different floor plans that appeal to a wide range of people.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, talking about Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier.
People really enjoy being able to go to our website, which is remingtonlincoln.com, pick a plan, pick a price point, go through and build it yourself. You have a lot of options, whether you want granite, painted trim, wood floors, more stone, all options with our Remington homes. People do not want to be married to their house payment. You're able to get what you really want in a home for a great price with very limited stress. And that's what Remington homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Here's your updated 93.7 The Ticket forecast, sponsored by Bryant Air Conditioning, Electrical, Heating, and Plumbing. Slight chance for storms today, otherwise sunshine mixed with clouds at times. High temperatures reach up to 84, southeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight, lows level off around 68. That's your updated forecast on Lincoln's home for the Kansas City Royals. 93.7 The Ticket. I'm meteorologist Kara Foster. Right now, 67.
You plan everything. The schedules, the meals, the activities. But at the Nebraska State Fair, you don't have to plan a thing. Baby animals, fair food, rides, free entertainment, and 11 days of memories your kids will never forget. You just have to show up. It all happens here at the Nebraska State Fair, August 28th through September 7th in Grand Island. Visit statefair.org.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they're committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perchmerch.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Hey Husker fans, Coach Amy Williams here, thanking you so much for your support of Nebraska women's basketball. Season tickets go on sale August 17th, and we want you at PBA with us as we take the next step forward as a program. Our Huskers are hunting a school record-tying 4th straight NCAA tournament bid, and we want you there with us every step of the way. Get your season tickets at Huskers.com, and let's win the day at PBA. Go Big Red.
Looking for the right utility tractor for your acreage? Find it at Landmark Implement. Shop our selection of used John Deere compact tractors from 1 through 5 series with the power and versatility to track mowing, yard work, snow removal, and more. For a limited time, get 2.9% financing for 36 months, followed by 6.2% for 24 months with approved credit. We've got the right fit for your property and your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or visit us online at landmarkimp.com today and experience the Landmark difference.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're in hour one of Old School. First half an hour of the show down here from Nebraska head coach Matt Rule. Audio courtesy, as always, of the Nebraska Huskers YouTube. Big thanks to Heartland of Nebraska Windows for their sponsorship of Hour 1. Heartland of Nebraska Windows, based out of Hallam, Nebraska. They offer a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl, triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while keeping their prices affordable. Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today for more info at 402-430-3852. You can also visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Let's hear from a Nebraska linebackers coach, Rob Dvorak. Lots going on in that linebacker room. Let's get to the new defensive scheme. Nebraska moving from that 3-4 look the last couple of years to a 4-2-5. Here's Rob Dvorak on that new defensive scheme and how his room is taking to it.
Yeah, I know Addy touched on that as well. I love the simplicity of the system. Really simple for the players to learn. Allows them to play fast. Allows them to play violent. There's things that carry over. The terminology is great for the guys. It's uniform. It's a really good system. I'm really excited about the future of it and excited to see what it looks like.
Simplified scheme, guys get to play fast. We've heard that a lot, Jay. Also, a little bit different in terms of the communication, right? There's not the two linebackers on the line of scrimmage. It's the two guys in the middle. I know you've said sometimes the nickel can function as a linebacker and needs to play that role. 4-2-5 versus 3-4. What does that mean for a guy like in your position?
I mean, for in the 3-3-5 for the position I played, it's all the same. Now, I just think that when he's talking about the communication and guys excited for the system, I think that does mean something. And so how you I guess present your blueprint allows assistant coaches to make that blueprint theirs. And obviously, it has the base fundamentals in it, right? There's the do's and don'ts of it, but you got to allow your coaches to coach. But as far as linebackers go, you got 4 guys down in front of you. This is what you're going to see. Really, I think one of the biggest things, even though Nebraska since Matt Rule, pretty much football, everybody plays a 4-man front because everybody's in like nickel defense 60-70% of the time. But there were times that Nebraska was in, 3-3-5.
Mm-hmm.
I think for these young linebackers and experience, the only one that really has true experience, in my opinion, is Owen Chambliss, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine, and he's played in it before, so he's like a coach on the field. So that's a great asset as well for Dvorak as a linebacker coach and Rob Orich as a D coordinator. But for the Shavers, the Dawson Merritt, the Mooberries, the Fosters, all those guys that are really lack experience, they get to see a 4-man front, base defense, nickel defense, dime defense, so they can get their reads. There's more reps to get those reads, and also when the defense is more it's simplicity, but then also it can get complex. So I think one of the things I can compare it to is, when I got drafted in Buffalo, we played a 3-4, and it was a true 3-4. You eat what you kill. The lineman coming up and blocking you, you got to defeat the block and make plays. You got to cover people and all that. It was straight. I mean, obviously we had Bruce Smith, so it was a little bit easier, right? And we had Ted Washington, so I'm not complaining, right? Ted got me paid a couple times. But then Greg Williams came in my 4th year. Straight 4-3, a lot of Buddy Ryan 46. To be honest with you, and I went from a true. So in the 3-4, I played every position, inside and outside, on the line of scrimmage, pass rusher and stack backer. Well, in Greg's defense, sometimes you might be on the line of scrimmage, sometimes you might be running chase, and sometimes you might be in the middle, right? Now, just based on he wanted everybody to be able to do everything. But it was a lot of the lingo and the communication. But I'm going to tell you what, once you got the simple stuff down, just the basics, light bulb came on and took off. And so that's hopefully what they're going to get out of this defense with this new defensive coordinator and Rob Orich.
Speaking about that new defensive coordinator, he was a college linebacker himself at the lower levels. Here's linebackers coach Rob Dvorak on working with Rob Orich with the linebackers.
Been great. Rob, obviously he's done a ton of great things. He's done a really nice job with linebackers in his past. So just learning the system from him, learning things from him from a technical perspective, from a linebacker position perspective, it's been really good. Great addition. Having Rob working with me every day, trying to pick up something new from him, and it's been really good.
2 guys that know how to coach linebackers there in Dvorak and Orich there, Jay. As a linebacker, your DC plays the position. You like to think there's some extra level of focus on it about how important those guys are.
Oh yeah. You
extra
better,
attention
oh
paid.
yeah. That's like Mike Zimmer. I don't know if we have any Vikings fans with Mike Zimmer. And look at Spags for Kansas City. He's defensive back. You coach by trade, so you better play good. And with Mike Zimmer up there, he always was protecting the DBs, right? And he was always worried about focus on the defense as a head coach. And so when you have a linebacker, former player as linebacker, and he was a pretty good player, I think, too, I think he was at University of Minnesota Duluth, right? And a very good player, and they won a lot. So he kind of knows what it takes, kind of at that level to win a championship, or just, what it's like to win. And he's been in it. He's kind of coached it. So he's lived it. So, it's kind of like when Tony White came here. He played in that system. He's coached it. He kind of grew up in the coaching tree with it. So, it's in his, DNA. The linebackers, look, I could tell you when they're watching tape, I would expect, and I guess if I was a D coordinator or a coach at any level, my linebackers better be playing good every game, every day. Doesn't matter who's in there. You could have the 4th team in there, and the guy better be they better be performing at a high level, because you always feel like you guys can make it all right.
Speaking of those 4th team guys, younger guys, Rob Dvorak was asked about The linebackers' contributions to special teams. If they're not going to see the field, here's Coach Dvorak.
It's really important. I think, especially for a young player, any opportunity you get the chance to go on the field, and then especially special teams, to learn the speed of the game, see how fast it happens, to play the physicality at this level, especially as a young player. I push all my guys to be on special teams. My expectation is that they're on every team that we have. I'm going to coach them on special teams and the drill work. And when they're out there, I want them to be on all the teams. It's really important that they do. We got to find every way to contribute, especially as a defensive player.
A lot of good, talented young linebackers in that room, Jay. We know a lot of the names. And, hey, here's a chance for snaps. And the other part of it, they should be some of the most athletic, well-rounded guys on the team. Guys like that you need on those units.
Your linebackers and your safeties, kind of, I guess we'll call them nickels, but I think your safeties should be 80% of your, obviously take your returners and like your gunners out of it. That should be, they should make up the core of your linebacker or of your special teams group, and they should be the most productive.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you're as a defensive player, you should be able to see ball, hit ball. You should be seeking and destroying, right? So why would an offensive player be able to be better than you on a special team? Just think about that. This is what you do
every day.
Right. And so, when you're blocking on kickoff return or holding up on punt return, that's just kind of what you play with your hands, and you play with a good base hopefully every play on defense. And so he's 100% right. And for the young guys that want to get on the field or get on that, I think the most important roster or the most important depth chart is the one that comes out for the travel roster. At home, it don't matter. You got 100 and some guys on the sideline. Yeah, you playing at home, but do you get on the plane when you're down to 75?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you're pretty much down to 70, even maybe 68 because you got all the specialists.
Yeah.
And like the third team quarterback. So you're really down your top 68 players in offense, defense. So you better be making some noise on special teams. I would strongly encourage guys, and they should have known this for, pretty much 3 weeks of camp. If you're second or third team, and say you're kind of like rotating on third team, so you're depending on one day you might be fourth team. You're not expending a lot of energy. Now I know they do a good job of having different stations, right? But I'm telling you, once special teams started, I'm laying it on the line.
Any energy you didn't use in those
No,
drills.
I mean, it's going to take everything because I'm trying to make my mark. I'm trying to be the guy that they have to turn down, even if we're in a walkthrough, because that's how your career can start. And it can go in, and you get your chance. We kept naming guys, and I'm sure they're over there telling them.
Well, just in that room in the last 4 years, you've had Bayer, Bullock, et cetera, et cetera. Reimer probably started his career in special teams.
Yeah. And he primarily had a special team skill set,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously it led to, being, a pretty explosive player on defense. And so, look, man, if you want to play at Nebraska and you're not a starter, look, if you're a linebacker, you ain't starting over Owen Chambliss. I don't care what nobody says. Like, they can give you lip service. You ain't starting over. Number one, you ain't better than him,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's number one. Number two, he came over with the coach and he knows the system. You're just not going to – you ain't starting over him unless you just that – like, you might start beside him.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't starting over him.
No.
So if you play his position, you ain't starting over him.
No.
You're getting in there. You the head tap guy. When he's tired, you going in. And whatever's going to happen at the other position, where you're at, but if you want to get in the mix, it starts with special teams. You make a play on special teams or make plays on special teams, especially with a whole new special teams coaching staff. You'll be on that plane because Brett needs the guys that he can trust on that plane.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can't afford to have special teams take a step back. And it starts with coverage. So if you're up there worrying about, say you're a second and third team guy, and you're worried about, oh man, in the scrimmage, Austin had, four positive plays or whatever the factor thing is, and I only had 3. No, I mean nothing. One play. You ain't playing because of that. You're gonna be on that roster based on what you do on those 4 core special teams and how much they can trust you. Then you have to take that into defense. I think guys have it backwards, and they used to call it A backwards. You know what
yes,
I mean?
Yes. You mentioned the different levels of guys on the depth chart. Rob Dvorak was asked how he coaches players at different levels of development at the same position. Here's the coach's answer.
Well, I think it's important to coach the highest denominator in the room. and then bring the guys along. There's obviously plenty of time to meet extra with guys, make sure they have a clear understanding. I think as a coach and a teacher, you got to make sure that you're making it simple for them and make sure that they understand it. And then just while you're up in front of the room, asking the questions and make sure I'm talking to everybody and asking questions to everybody and not just maybe Owen, who's been in the system longer, right? You got to make sure that whoever goes on that field knows exactly what to do, how to do it. And it's my job to make sure they do.
Coaching at the highest denominator, there was the Owen Chambliss reference we got from Rob Dvoracek. How important is that, Jay? What does that look like and sound like out of a coach when he's, coaching at the level, the 400 level for the senior or the 500 level for the fifth-year player now, and the freshmen or younger guys are still catching up?
I mean, that's sometimes where you can get your coaching at its purest form. I mean, because you're trying to get guys up to speed. They have to be all ears, and your attention. You are, number one, you are the coach, so the respect needs to be there. But number two, every day is a learning day for them. It's a trial and error for them. So you're trying to really see the most improve. You get the most improvement out of those guys, and you can if they have to embrace it, and then you have to embrace them. So look, you coach everybody in that room the same, and the standard should be the standard no matter who's up there. And really, your best players should have the highest standards and maybe higher than for themselves than even the coach could have on them. But ultimately, you definitely got to coach everybody in there the same, because you just never know. Like, I was fortunate enough that Coach Samuel coached me even though I wasn't Troy Dumas yet, which then allowed me to start as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't know that. But he coached everybody the same. He coached, Sean Noster and Foster and all these guys the same. Larry Arnold, everybody got coached the same. The standard was the same. No matter if you were a freshman or, in between, or you're a guy trying to, Clint Brown as well. I mean, the expectations were really, really high. And that's the only way you're going to get the best out of everybody.
We'll hear a little bit more from Matt Rule to end out the hour with, again, a big thank you to Heartland of Nebraska Windows for sponsoring hour one of the show. Give them a call today for more info, 402-430-3852. You can also visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. He's Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. We'll wrap up hour one of Old School on the other side.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they're committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perchmerch.com.
Hey, Jake, you know what I love almost as much as the Big Red?
Big scores on the field?
Good guess, but nope.
Big spikes on the court?
Love those too, but I'm thinking food. Like those big, budget-friendly portions you find at Buzzard Billy's.
Now you're talking. I love Buzzard Billy's. I love the shrimp po' boys and the blackened chicken.
You almost always find me enjoying gumbo.
Big plays, big scores, big wins, Big Red. Yep, love them all, especially
those big portions that are budget-friendly. Only at Buzzard Billy's, A-Market.
If the power is out, traffic lights may be too. If you come across a dark intersection, treat it like a four-way stop. Find more outage safety tips at les.com/safety.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs, quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside's margaritas and old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
You plan everything, the schedules, the meals, the activities. But at the Nebraska State Fair, you don't have to plan a thing. Baby animals, fair food, rides, free entertainment, and 11 days of memories your kids will never forget. You just have to show up. It all happens here at the Nebraska State Fair, August 28th through September 7th in Grand Island. Visit statefair.org.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and new Sierra and Silverado trucks continue to roll in, and August is a great time to upgrade. Right now, get new GMC Sierras for under $50,000. Or get 2.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,500 bonus cash. Visit us in Louisville or anytime at koppelcars.com. Stock number G306367 with approved credit.
Let me share something to make life just a little easier. It's just one word, Bryant. If we need service on our furnace or AC, we call Bryant. Same thing goes for an electrical issue. If I have a problem with my faucet, a toilet, a drain, or a water heater, I don't need to know how to fix something. I just need to know who to call. And at our house, it's Bryant.
Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. Just one call. 467-1111. Remember, we do whatever it takes.
Nutrition Authority invites you to enjoy internet crushing prices in the back-to-school blowout. We already offer better than internet pricing, but from Monday, August 24th through Saturday, August 29th, we're slashing them even deeper. The back-to-school blowout on Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out on mynutritionauthority.com.
If you like freedom and you like floors, ditch the box stores and shop Freedom Floor and find the best luxury vinyl, tile, hardwood, laminate, carpet, and experts at Freedom Flooring. Visit our showroom at 4815 South 14th Street in Lincoln. If you like freedom and you like floors, ditch the box stores and shop Freedom Flooring, a Shaw Floors dealer.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrapping up hour one of Old School, gotten a chance to hear from some Nebraska football coaches, including Matt Rule and Rob Dvorak. We'll hear this from Matt Rule and then also from Roy Manning as well on the defensive line and getting after the quarterback. Matt Rule says you want sacks for the pass rush, but disruption is the goal. Here is the head coach expounding on that.
Back to the ends for a second. Coach Manning yesterday was talking about he's not using that word sack quite as much, but rather to kind of collapse or pressure the pocket. Could you elaborate on what maybe that looks like in practice with guys maybe trying to rush four as one?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously want sacks, right? But the true measure is how many times you pressure a quarterback and get him off his rhythm and off his spot. So, we talk about the paint. That's the area. If you think about a basketball, a guy taking a charge, they have that little painted area. Like we want to get, if the quarterback's the rim, we want to get in that area directly in front of him. We want to affect what happens to him. On offense last year, we definitely took too many sacks, and it wasn't always just one guy came off the edge and sacked him. A lot of times it was that guy getting the quarterback off a spot, and another guy with great effort showing up. So we want to disrupt the quarterback, disrupt his timing. We talk about protecting and affecting the quarterback. So when we protect the quarterback, it's not giving up sacks. It's giving him a clean pocket to throw from, not letting him see color in his face, And then on defense, it's the inverse, right? We want to affect the quarterback, move him off the spot, give him things to see. And so collapsing the pocket and pushing the pocket, especially when they're facing Anthony and TJ every day. I mean, those guys get out and it could be an explosive play. So in practice, we want to rush in a competitive speed while at the same time staying away from the quarterback and specifically, in front of him, because that's where the quarterback comes down, breaks his hand. So we try very hard. We show him hard knocks. We show him everything like this, how you practice like a pro. But we want to set great angles that we are collapsing the pocket and having the quarterback be under duress. So we definitely want sacks, but that's not the measure of what we're doing. It's really pressures and getting him off the spot and disrupting timing that truly affects the game.
And then here's this from Roy Manning on focusing on collapsing the pocket.
Everything I've preached has been about process, about pressure. I haven't mentioned the word sacks as much as in my past because I want them thinking pocket, pocket, pocket. And then everybody will eat as a result of that.
Process over results. We've heard that a lot from Matt Rule. Roy Manning seems to internalize that as well. How true is that, and what does that mean, Jay, to focus on the process of rushing the passer, getting the quarterback off his spots, and then sacks flowing from that?
Well, I mean, it's important. I mean, they all go together. I mean, obviously, we got the pit coming on later today. They can, talk about that as well. But, ultimately, you want to be the best, teams that get the most sacks. They're very detailed as well. I mean, they're just not just out there just willy-nilly and doing it. Sure, if you got a Von Miller or DeMarcus Ware, I had Bruce Smith. And then obviously we had guys even like that, Marcellus Wiley and those guys could really get after the quarterback, but they obviously always had a plan. And, look, I played against Michael Vick where we had to cage him in, and we had different blitz packages and rush packages in order to do so. So the process is obviously, at the forefront, but also the production has to be there as well. And so, you got to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're doing it. But then also you got to win, and you got to have guys that are, good enough and that can win on a consistent basis against like opponents or perceived better opponents in order to get to where Nebraska, wants to be. Because in order for Nebraska to reach their standard and hopefully reach, whatever, I'm sure their standard is higher than the expectations, externally. You have to get winners. You have to have guys that are going to win. You have to have guys that are going to be able to defeat somebody at the most opportune time or on a consistent basis.
Or make it the opportune time.
Yeah. And you have to have team rushes. And a lot of times sacks come off of effort, man. Second effort. But you got to cover on the back end, and you got to understand, the strengths and weaknesses of every protection and offense.
I do like the basketball analogy as well. Shocker. I know there's a baseball analogy in there as well. You think about the best scorers or the best passers. You're not always going to force missed shots. You're not going to always force turnovers. Not just going to pick their pocket, but can you disrupt their rhythm? Can you be, a beat ahead of where they expect you to be? If you're a pitcher, right? Do you work off the fastball? Do you work off the breaking ball? It is about that timing. Athletes love rhythm, no matter what position you play, being able to get comfortable in the flow. Sure. And then as soon as someone, takes a step you weren't expecting, oh, that wasn't what I studied. That wasn't my film. There's your opportunity. Find those moments to throw off that timing with that counter step, with something they're not expecting. It's hard to do because you want to stick to fundamentals, but that goes to film study, goes to being, I think, instinctual as a player too. Understanding, yourself, understanding the opponent across.
It's kind of like that old Bill Belichick mindset that, you got from Bill Parcells and the Giants and all the great defenses, do it. We did it, and every defense that is successful is like, you want to take away their strengths. And obviously when you're rushing the quarterback, one thing is that there's no quarterback that's ever played that likes action or garbage around their feet because they can't set up and throw. No quarterback that's ever played does well getting hit.
No.
And as long as you're hitting him, as long as you're in his presence at a consistent basis, you ideally will see some results go in your favor. Now, if you play against a guy that's just on, you just have to deal with it. Then you have to go back to the drawing board and continue to do what you're doing, and then obviously get better at it and maybe, see some weaknesses. But ultimately, you got to learn how to move guys off spots. If you move them off their spots, then you expect the guy on the backside to win. So you got to handle on the front side. But the backside has to win as well. And that's where your production has to come from.
We'll go to our hour break here. We've talked a little bit about the depth chart. It should be coming out here in the near future. You heard about the quarterback. That one's seemed settled for a while. We know middle linebacker. Let's project the depth chart. We'll start on the defense because that's where we like to start on this show. We'll move into the offense as we continue. Your thoughts, give us your projected. Let's start with the 2 deep for Nebraska football if you want. On our Sartor Heman Jewelers text line, 402-464-5685. We'll go room by room. We'll go group by group and get through it. Big thanks as well to Graham Tire Company for their sponsorship of Old School, celebrating 75 years of serving the Midwest. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. We roll along into hour 2 of Old School.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Norman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on making the most craveable chicken finger meals, getting them right every time. That's why we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, salt every fry, squeeze every lemon, and brew every ounce. We do this inside every Raising Cane's, every day, because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing.
and electrical.
Nutrition Authority invites you to enjoy internet-crushing prices in the back-to-school blowout. We already offer better than internet pricing, but from Monday, August 24th through Saturday, August 29th, we're slashing them even deeper. The back-to-school blowout at Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out on mynutritionauthority.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
When Nebraska businesses win, we all win. And the Nebraska Chamber is helping make that happen. Tackling the tough stuff like job creation, affordable and accessible childcare, and building a stronger workforce. We're stepping up so local businesses can step forward. If you want to see Nebraska keep growing, keep competing, and keep winning, get connected with the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Learn more at nechamber.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
New from Arbor Axe House comes Benny's Battle Barge, the mobile axe throwing adventure. Perfect for festivals, parties, fundraisers, and celebrations. Charter the barge at arbораxe.com or call Arbor Axe House at 402-802-9696. Arbor Axe House at the corner of N Street and Antelope Valley.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they're committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perchmerch.com.
Fleet Feet in Lincoln reminds us to salute our emergency first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, and paramedics for their professionalism, commitment, and bravery. These men and women are willing to put their lives on the line for us with little or no thanks. First responders are the backbone of our country. They deserve our admiration, so thank them for everything they do for us. This message is from Fleet Feet here in Lincoln, proudly supporting our first responders and essential workers in the community.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time. And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hour 2 of Old School on a Monday. Austin Orman, Jay Foreman with you. You can be part of the show, 402-464-5685. Drumstick says, yo, Jay, I saw you at Walmart yesterday.
You did.
Your legion of adoring fans.
Oh yeah,
on Jay Foreman watch.
Yeah, I had to get a weapon. I always carry a weapon with me. It was for hand-to-hand combat.
I thought you already had two of them.
No, I was getting. No, I got the equalizer. No, just playing. I got a little box cutter.
There we go.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was all right.
Easy as that.
Yeah.
Nebraska football depth chart, Jay. Start on defense. 4, 2, and 5. Let's start with the linebackers, right? We'll work middle out. We know that's how we like to do things on this program. You said in the first hour, Owen Chambliss is a starter. What do you think that second spot looks like and the depth behind them?
I think it's one of those or.
Okay.
I think it's Foster or Shavers. Or Foster and Shavers. Because
otherwise it'd be a.
And the reason why I think because if they go like a regular 4-3, I think Shavers is in there. It's Shavers, Foster, and Chambliss.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then also
with Chambliss is the key communicator.
Yeah, or just I'm sure. Yeah, he'd be the lead communicator whenever he's on the field.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, and obviously they know better than me, but I just think a guy that knows the system and loves football and is about it. I think he would fit that. But then behind it, that's where it gets a little tricky. Because you need Dawson Merritt too, and I feel like Dawson Merritt, obviously very young, right? He's one of those guys that I talked about. Special teams first, linebacker, special teams 1A, linebacker 1B. Mm-hmm. Now, don't take this and run with it, but I'm just saying, his path to be on the field, and a viable player is through special teams first, while being an ascending linebacker. And so that's where he really, comes in there. And then when you think of, you got Wacker, you got Mooberry,
Christian Jones.
And so when you look at those three and you look at, Christian Jones, when the buck gets out of high school, was a borderline 5-star recruit.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And high 4-star recruit out of Omaha West Side. Big kid, just needs obviously a lot of work to be able to move and stuff like that. How effective can he be on special teams? If as you're trying to improve on special teams or improve at linebacker, right? And that's where you're gonna have to do a lot of work on your own outside of practice, because as the season goes on, you're not going to get as many reps as you're getting during camp. And so your special teams is the easiest thing to do. So how well have you embraced that? And then when you think of Wacker, he's in the same, right? And then when you think of Mooberry, and I played with his dad, but I'm telling you about Mooberry. Listen, I'm thinking here, he probably is your fastest stack linebacker. Well, if you take him and run 100, he can run.
He can move. Yeah,
he can run, and he's got a nasty mindset too. They'll get after you. You know what I'm saying?
And that's not a nice to have. That's a need to have at linebacker, correct?
Yeah, but he has the right mindset, and he's always had it. Now, he came in a little banged up. I think it was his either shoulder or knee, or knee then shoulder. For the first couple of years, I think he's healthy. He looked good in the spring. I ran into him this summer. Where did I run into him? I was I might have been at Walmart, or maybe Sam's Club or something. And it looked like he been hitting the weights, obviously. So he's a guy that can come down and be a tempo setter as long as he's really effective on special teams. He has that size, the speed. He has the the length that where he can shed blocks and really be effective. Cover guy, and obviously a core special teams guy. So when you look at that linebacker room, it's this. I think it's the race for, let's just say, that 5th spot to get on that plane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it also puts onus on, in my opinion, Shavers and Foster. Both of you guys are gonna have to be involved on special teams. Same with Dawson, in my opinion, right? Dawson Merritt, and then out of those 3 or anybody else, that other spot to get on that plane.
You can throw in Gage Stenger, listed as a linebacker on the roster. He's been a key special teams guy at times, injured, but is in that conversation.
Yeah, and he's kind of the X factor. That's kind of like his bread and butter. He's dinged up right now. Let's see where he's at. Nobody knows, and I don't really like to, talk. I don't even know what's wrong with him, but so he's in the mix too. But since he's injured, I just talk about the guys that I feel that are healthy.
Well, when he's coming back, he's going to want a spot back.
Oh, when he comes back, he's going to be in the mix, automatically in the mix, because he's done it before. He's shown the willingness to be involved in special teams. He knows it. And I played last year. And so whenever he comes back in, then the competition ramps up again. And it's like, okay, does Gage get the benefit of the doubt, or have these guys perform well enough at special teams that they've kind of leapfrogged that, or at least the playing field's even. So it's constant competition. It's constant, proving yourself. But more importantly, look, man, we about to play for everything.
For keeps. For real.
It's a football.
For jobs.
Yeah. I mean, this shouldn't even be a question.
Before we move on to the other rooms, let's hear from Rob Dvorak on how many linebackers we would want ready to play in a competitive game.
At the end of the day, I think as many as you can to have them prepared. I know last year we probably played 4, 5, 6 guys at times. Whoever's ready and can play up to the standard is gonna be able to play. So whatever that number ends up being, we're still kind of going through all that. I'm good with that, but our expectation is that we get everyone ready to play, and when they can play to our standard, then they'll have that opportunity. Honestly, I think you need to have 4, 5, 6 guys, because you also play multiple packages. You're not just always with 2 linebackers. Sometimes there's 3, sometimes, you know what I mean? So there's more than 2 out on the field sometimes.
That's a lot of what you had to say there with the 2 deep, the 5th spot potentially, and maybe a 6th, more likely for home.
If you're a dog on special teams and you're that 6th linebacker, you'll be on that plane.
Then you're kicking probably a safety back home or another cornerback.
Hey, sorry. Hey, man, make sure you watch the game. Watch how I do this. I've been there. I've been on both sides of that at the pro level. And so that's where you got your special teams guys. I mean, when they get in these staff meetings, at least from my experience when I was doing it, like you get in these staff meetings, man, I'm telling you, and it happens in the draft process. It happens in, you evaluate players, here at Nebraska and every other college where you at special teams wise. You can't be the number 2 linebacker at a spot, let's just say, and be like 4th on the depth chart at your position of special teams. That can't happen.
No.
So, it's going to be interesting how it all shakes out.
Let's move up front to the defensive line. Nebraska brought in a handful of transfers. Anthony Jones. You look at Owen Stodmeyer, Jasir Whittington among them. Add into the returners, Williams Winery, Riley Van Poppel, Cam Lenhart, Cade Pedshok, Sewell Fotu, Jordan Ochoa, on down through the list. Do you expect a mix of returners and transfers, Jay? Do you think it's a group that's going to skew older in the trenches in the Big Ten? How would you project the defensive line right now?
I'd say probably, I think Jones is going to start because I'm just going off of what Manning talked about, right? I just kind of go off like how they talk about the guys.
Yeah. Kind of in that Jamari Butler, Caleb Tanner kind of role.
So I think
MJ Sherman.
He's going to start, and I'm just going to go down from like left to right or right to left him. I imagine it's going to be Williams, Noeri, or Cam Lenhart. And then on the other side, it'd be Jones or Petchak, right?
Okay.
Or just whatever those 4. I think Jones will start.
Over Petchak.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's kind of just seems just based off what they're saying. Now, Petchak's going to play like a starter, so he's going to be there. And then I think like Cam Lenhart and Noeri, just kind of we'll see. Ware's showing that he's got the ability to rush the passer. I think Cam Lenhart, he talked about his energy, and so you want a guy that's a tempo setter. So I think it's going to be or. And then inside, I think it's going to be Whittington. I think they've talked about him all the way back since spring, right? He'll probably start at one of the defensive tackles, and then I think it's going to be Stoudemire or Van Poppel at the other. But I think the most important thing is looking at, okay, is Sua there? Who's that 4th and maybe I call a 5th swing defensive tackle, right?
Okay.
And that's where I think the competition really gets thick, and you just never know. I mean, I think that's pretty safe about that front 4, at least for the starters. Is going to be a mix of those guys, and that's who's going to end up, being out there the most.
I think it was Corey Brown last week talking about the 8 guys that he's got to get ready to play across the defensive line. That's not just 8 defensive tackles. You probably don't have that many on the roster.
Yeah, it's 2 deep on each.
Yeah, at each spot there. And of course, you'll mix and match. You'll see some combinations depending on time, score, situation, down, and distance. But we spend a lot of time on first down and on third down, right? Who's there to get the drive started the right way, right? To keep them in second and long. Who's there to clean up on third down and stop that drive in its tracks? I also think second down goes underappreciated, Jay, because if you get a stop on first down and the team's off schedule behind the chains, you can't just put your backups in on second down and say, hold the line. You got to win second down too. Put them in third and long, you know? And so I think Nebraska's got to have that mentality of, oh, this isn't just my play. Oh, I'm in here as the backup and I'll do what I can. It's got to be full on everything you've got for that snap, because all three downs are important. They always have been. And because you're a backup or you didn't start or you're in a combination of guys you might not have gotten as many snaps with, you got to find a way to make it work no matter what down you're playing.
I mean, you look at just the interior, right? You got Van Poppel, Stoudemire, right? And Stoudemire's a senior, and Deshaun Whittington, he's actually a young guy. He's a sophomore. So, I mean, you still got, a couple years with him.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Van Poppel again, and then you got Sula Lefotu, who I think probably athletically is up there, and maybe in some ways up there better than Van Poppel, right? But just needs to, be healthy and productive. But then they have guys like they talked about Tyson Terry that they like. David Hofkin, who is the guy I think it was a satellite camp, and he's from Germany. It was a visa thing. They got him. And now, I mean, he's 300-something pounds. He looks like he's 280. So, I mean, he's obviously – and then you have that Dylan Berryman who came in. He's a true freshman, big guy. I think they have him listed at 350. And so when you're thinking about it, he's a guy that has to prove himself in practice a lot, and then also be very effective this is just my opinion, in the non-conference and short yardage and run down situations in order to get up into that fifth or sixth, because you have Malcolm Simpson, who's obviously, a scholarship kid coming off of injury. And then you have Gabe Moore, who transferred in, I think, from Mississippi State. So that competition behind, let's just say, in my opinion, behind Van Poppel, Stoudemire, Whittington is probably one of the most intense out there, because it's 2 spots, 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to shake out here, because you need depth, and you're going to need those guys to continue to get better in the Big Ten.
And up front, too, I think it's fair to point out that that's a position, too, where some guys can be specialists early on and then develop into well-rounded players, right? If you're a guy that can get after the passer, maybe you do just play sub-packages on third down. Maybe that's Pedshawk's role. But obviously Williams-Winery, right? Some natural pass rush ability. Can he gain that consistency against the run? So he's not just a third down or second and long, third and long kind of guy. Because Cam Lenhart's been generally solid against it. Hasn't gotten blown out of the frame or anything. Same thing for the interior guys, right? If you're Whittington, can you stand up, for 9 games against Big Ten competition, specifically on first and second down, where you can leverage your quickness, your first step, and your get off when it comes to rushing the passer. So do what you're good at, do what you're asked to do, and then find ways to get more consistent at maybe your weaknesses or where you're not as strong right now to try to, develop into as much of a 3-down player as you can be.
Yeah, I played with OC Umenyiora only for like a season, where he was like just primarily, learning his way to be a pass rusher. Then he obviously, played himself to be an all-pro.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Tuck as well. Yeah. And he played different positions. He went inside on the NASCAR package and made some hay. So, look, there's plenty of guys that go from role players into, steady starters. And it depends on where they're at, as far as who plays what side, as far as all 4 of the outside guys. But primarily, those are your top 4. But then you got to think, though, when they moved Jeremiah Jones to defensive end, right, in his highlights in high school, I thought he was ascending wide receiver. I talked about him last year. He got hurt. But when I went back and watched his high school tapes, I mean, he was a problem on defense. So he's now at defensive end, right, or edge. It'll take some time. But when you talk about, I'd always talk about, playing against Joey Porter 1 year as wide receiver. Next year I'm at the combine with him, or 2 years later I'm at the combine with him. And he's jumping 39. I jump like 36 and a half. It can happen. And then you think of, Mac Markway, who, remember, he just showed up as a tight end from LSU, looks the part, got dinged up, a couple of years. He's at defensive end. And they talk, I think Coach Rule talked about him.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
He looks naturally there. So when, what that tells me, or at least what I wouldn't say, I'm not going to say what that tells you. Well, I'm going to tell you what I would take it as, because I would take everything personal. If you're not the established starter, right, And really, when you look at those 4 guys, nobody's really like Big Ten wise. They're not Ohio State guys. They're not Anthony Smith from Minnesota or anybody like that. But you're starting here, and maybe the second string guys are just whatever. I would look at, okay, they're putting guys at my position to see if they can take my position. That's the way I would take it. Maybe that's not the way it is, but that's the way I would take it. So I would take it, personally and really get on my on the good foot to be the player that I want to be.
Drumstick wants to know from our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line, in your opinion, what's the most established position group on defense?
Ooh, that's a good question. That is a good question. I don't really know because I'd probably say linebacker. Shaver started last year, and just because of Chambliss.
Knows the defense. Yeah.
It's either the second or third level because you got Marshall over there to feel good with. Then you brought McDougal over and Donovan Jones, and so you feel good with those guys, right? But then the other 2 positions are just up in the air. Whereas I feel like right now you could start Owen Chambliss and Shavers. You can start Owen Chambliss and Foster and feel like you upgraded. So I'd say linebacker.
I think that's fair because we just went 10 minutes on the defensive line, still figuring out who those guys are. Defensive backfield, you might have the most name recognition back there, which, again, there's more guys, so there's more names to recognize. You have one position settled for sure with Andrew Marshall. You have a new guy, probably McDougal, as a starter at safety, which, okay, established in the system, not established at Nebraska. Donovan Jones, you know him. He's played a role at Nebraska, but he hasn't played nickel much at Nebraska, snaps here or there. Jameer Khan, another name that's been in the mix at safety, has been at Nebraska, made a bit of a name for himself playing in the nickel down the stretch last year, has moved back to primarily working with the safeties. Cornerback, too. That's not established, right? Jeremiah Charles had some buzz. He had the Victor Evans week. He had the Danny Odom, articles come out as well. All names that but not established as a starter, not established as, playmakers on the outside yet. So I would say the secondary has the most name recognition, but is probably as unsettled as the defensive line.
Now. And hopefully it's working that way towards that, and will continue to work that way. Definitely through the non-con. You'd like to see, let's just say at those 3 other positions. Because when you look at, okay, let's just go jump back there. You feel, okay, Donovan Jones. Okay, well, who is behind Donovan Jones at nickel, right? You feel good about Donovan Jones. Do you have position flexibility in a pinch? Can Jamar Khan go and play the nickel? Okay, well, then who steps up? Yeah, Rex Guthrie that played a lot last year, had a little bit of struggles, and has he improved, right? Then you have Caleb Benning, who I'll say that, in the bowl game where he got to play, and he didn't start, but he got to play. Looked like the only dude out there, not like the only, but he looked different on tape because he was some effort and he making plays, right? And
they started Justin Rhett in that game, guy that came on toward the end of the year.
Right. I was just about to say Justin Rhett. And then you have McDougal as well. And then so that's 5 guys, right? So you got
for 2.5 spots,
just in the straight safety position, right? So that's the strong safety, field and boundary safety, whatever you want to call it. You got Jameer Khan, McDougal, Guthrie, Benning, Rhett.
Yeah,
for 2 spots. Now you could say even 4 guys because you feel like you've heard Jameer Khan, potentially could play nickel. That's still 5 guys for 2 spots. Now, I'm not sure if I think is McDougal the equivalent of Shavers or Chambliss. I'm not really sure. We'll see. I'd hope so because you came in the system and you were actually pretty productive. And I've watched him. He's pretty productive out there. He makes some plays on the ball. He'll come up and hit you. So if he can establish himself as that, it makes it easier to work out the other positions because it can boil down to nickel. I think all of them are going to play. All of them have probably gotten a fair chance to compete. And it'll be interesting to see when the depth chart comes out what they've done. How much is Guthrie gotten better at some of the things he needed to get better at? How much growth is Caleb Benning continued to do? Is Justin Rhett, I guess I'm assuming, became more consistent because he can run and hit. That's what, he's known for. And then Jameer Khan, who they talked about even last year, where he's at, and he's a senior. So, where they got, if you got, when you look at it just on the seniority, Khan and McDougal are seniors. Both of them transfer. You expect and want those guys to be your bell cows and your leaders and your playmakers. Caleb Benning and Rex Guthrie are your sophomores. So you're looking at the future. Rhett's kind of like a a jack of all trade or joker card there. And then you got Donovan Jones as a sophomore as well. So you got a lot of like options there. Now we need some answers.
Speaking of answers and making yourself the answer, you mentioned that two-letter word or at a couple positions, but actually all three groups that we talked about.
That's what it's going to be at safety. I think
safety?
it's going to see a lot of ors. But those guys will know. When they say first team defense, you know, the funny thing about depth charts, it's funny. You'll get out there and guys will be like, or, and that'd be good for people to call you and say like, man, you're a co-starter. First team up. If you ain't buckling your helmet, you ain't first team.
Very easy dividing line.
Yeah. But you get in the game, but you ain't starting, Jack. So you know, I'm running out there.
I think I can anticipate where you're going to take this, and ask the question anyways. To what degree is it on Nebraska and the coaching staff to just make up its mind and pick a guy, and maybe play matchups for a certain amount of time? Is there a certain week that Nebraska should make up its mind at these or positions for, and just say, hey, this is our guy? Obviously, there's a rotation. How much of it is on the players to make themselves the answer and be the ones that take the eraser or the pen over or and scratch it out?
It's majority on the. I mean, circumstances got to allow you to do that. Like if we're supposed to be or, you're getting 8 reps a period and I'm getting 2. Circumstances aren't allowing me to do so. But ideally, it's on the players to make the coaches' decisions easier, right? And also, you want to make it because I'm gonna tell you that the guys in the locker room know who's good and not. So you want to have to make sure you have the guys out there that deserve to play. But I think as you get to that third non-con game, you'd like to have your rotation down. You kind of know it, but then also you understand the guys that are in the rotation that aren't starters, they have to be productive as well. And so you want to still keep that ongoing competition until somebody really takes that leap and puts himself ahead of somebody else.
That's the defensive side of the ball. We'll talk the offensive side of the ball, the offensive depth chart, when we get back to Old School.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they're committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perchmerch.com.
Here's your updated 93.7 The Ticket forecast, sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. Slight chance for showers today, otherwise a blend of clouds and sun. Highs level off around 84. Southeast winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. 68 tonight, partly cloudy skies. Mainly cloudy tomorrow, chance of thunderstorms 87. That's your updated forecast on Lincoln's home for the Kansas City Royals. 93.7 The Ticket. I'm meteorologist Kara Foster. Currently, it's 68 degrees.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. It's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear that you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and new Sierra and Silverado trucks continue to roll in, and August is a great time to upgrade. Right now, get new GMC Sierras for under $50,000 or get 2.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,500 bonus cash. Visit us in Louisville or anytime at koppelcars.com. Stock number G306367 with approved credit.
When Nebraska businesses win, we all win. And the Nebraska Chamber is helping make that happen. Tackling the tough stuff like job creation, affordable and accessible childcare, and building a stronger workforce. We're stepping up so local businesses can step forward. If you want to see Nebraska keep growing, keep competing, and keep winning, get connected with the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Learn more at nechamber.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Moms already know. It's the one time all summer where everything comes together. The kids are happy. The food is incredible. And somewhere between the birthing pavilion and the drone show, your whole family is together in a way that's hard to find anymore. It all happens here at the Nebraska State Fair, August 28th through September 7th in Grand Island. Visit statefair.org.
This summer, Salt Dogs fans are making history at Haymarket Park. We're celebrating 25 seasons of grit, grins, heart, and hometown pride. Lincoln, you built this stadium. You named this team. And season after season, it's you, the fans, that keep us coming back for more. So let our thank you be our promise. The best is yet to come. Your local tradition plays on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
When something breaks, you want someone you can trust to fix it right. Empire Repair is now open in Waverly and ready to serve our community with reliable auto repair and maintenance. From routine service to bigger repairs, our team is here to keep you on the road. Stop by Empire Repair in Waverly or call 402-786-2224 to schedule your service today. Empire Repair, proud to serve Waverly.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket.
Halfway home on Old School on a bright, clear, now Monday morning. You can tell football's around the corner. Just it's hitting a little bit different. We're going to talk some Nebraska football offense here in just a moment. But first, we want to give a shout out to the good folks over at Schwezo Construction, where safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Schwezo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work, as well as a team that has your back both on and off the job site. Apply today at schwezo.com. 40-plus years strong in business, Schwezo Construction. All right, Jay, we built the 2 deep as best we could for Nebraska's defense. Let's swing things over to the offensive side of the ball. Quarterback, we heard from Matt Rule. It would be Anthony Calandria if the season started today. Still a question for quarterback 2 and 3. TJ Lateef, Daniel Kalen, slightly divergent skill sets between them. Lateef has the starting experience at Nebraska from the end of last year, but Daniel Kalen back in the fold as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an or thing between those two, and it's just kind of just where they're at, and part of both guys in different situations. I think felt like Lateef got a lot of experience, even though it wasn't ideal. Came in and played well early, and then obviously pulled a hammy, and then gutted out the rest of the season. Daniel Kalen was able to leave here earlier when Dylan was here to go to Virginia, got some starting experience. Probably would have played a lot, there, and chose to come back home. So I think it's a number 2, and I think it's going to be constant competition. I think it'll make both of them better. I think that you can't lie that they have a strong quarterback room. You got 3 quarterbacks with starting experience. Which
is super rare.
Super rare in this
That's
day and age.
crazy.
Yeah, right. And so, guys will transfer down to North Texas and level back up in a year. And so you got 3 guys that have starting experience at the Power 4 level. And obviously, TJ Lateef and eventually Calandra would be able to play Big Ten, and Kalen was out in the ACC. So they feel very comfortable with that, and it'd be interesting to see how that competition goes throughout the year. But overall, the strength of that room is a lot different, and they put a lot of resources in there.
12 days to determine a running back depth chart. Any reading of the tea leaves pointing you any direction on who RB1 will be?
I have no idea. I mean, before the thing that happened with Mekhi Nelson this summer, I would probably say him, because I felt like they were always saying that he would, everything you heard that he was number 1 coming out of the spring. But I think even though obviously what was reported, obviously was, I guess nullified or not true, I think it allowed, the emergence of Isaiah Mosey, who's continued to make his transition from wide receiver to running back. It seems like seamlessly. And he's gotten bigger and stronger, and I'm assuming kept his speed. And then I think it allowed Jamal Rule to make some way too. I think they were pleasantly surprised how he came in as a freshman. Did really well in the spring. I saw him play in high school, trained kids that played against him. I feel like he's, in my opinion, probably the best natural runner out of all of them. That means I think some guys are just naturally can run the football. I think he's that. So I think that is going to be wide open. And don't forget, Quentin Ives, towards the end of the season, I think when he got healthy, carved out that kind of short yardage power back type of deal. And I think, Connor Booth has continued to, prove himself. So I think the top 3 of those 3, Nelson, Rule, and Mosey, I don't know where it's going to shake out, but I think it's going to be, an everyday and in a week-to-week basis.
Kansas Randy says they think TJ Lateef is the easy number 2 quarterback, and also I would like to see Mekhi Nelson get the first snap at running back. Nelson had the pretty solid bowl performance against Utah. That's the last time we've seen him play football, obviously, and he did a pretty darn good job there with the long touchdown run. Flashed at moments throughout the season. Running back and even wide receiver to some extent, Jay, are positions that are rhythm-based in a lot of ways, right? For running backs, it's getting hit the first time, getting popped, getting back up, understanding how your offensive line is working against the defensive line. For wide receiver, obviously, learning the guy across from you, find a way to get in rhythm with your quarterback. And so you got to be out there for snaps. But Nebraska is seemingly deep or has some viable options at those positions. And so it's almost, obviously it's football, but to use cross-sport comparisons, in baseball, you come to bat once every 2-3 innings, right? You just got to be ready when your number's called. For basketball, depending on the team context, if you're at Nebraska, maybe you get some more shots. If you're at a different team that's run by, ball dominant point guard or scoring guard, you get fewer shots. But finding ways to be ready when your number is called, to a point, you can use that, well, he wasn't in rhythm. Oh, he came off the bench cold. But your number got called. Yeah. You just got to be ready to go make a play, whether you're the starter or the 4th string guy, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think it's a point that people don't really put a lot of emphasis on is running back is a rhythm base. I think we saw this in Emmett Johnson even before Dana got here. He would get in the rhythm, or he wasn't allowed to get in the rhythm, and so he'd have those games or like 2 games where he was able to get in the rhythm. I was like, oh, he showed flashes. He actually can be an option. Well, then he wouldn't. Then you're like, oh, what happened? And then the next game he wouldn't. What Emmett did is he continued to work while he waited, and then he got his opportunity of a lifetime, and he's making it a lifetime of opportunity. He's up in Kansas City now, and might buy in for their number 2 position at running back. I think the running back rooms that like that, they're probably waiting for somebody to really step up and find their way to be that number 1 guy. I think all 3 will play. So that's why they feel comfortable. They feel like what they've seen, they only can go off what they've seen in practice, that all 3 of them have been very competitive. And so it's going to be interesting to see who really steps up. Now, it could be kind of game plan wise. I think where you got Mekhi Nelson, like you said, a little bit more of a home run threat. Isaiah Mosey kind of can do it all. I think he's shifty, can make you miss, can run with enough power, can get out there on the edges and really, get busy a little bit. And I think Jamal Rule is a young and upcoming ascending player that, I think he's a guy that gets faster. He's got that powerful speed, runs behind his pads. for a young player. Has really kind of showed some real good consistency. And then you got Quentin Ives, who played last year in the short yardage. So it's going to be, an ongoing thing, but they're going to see how guys. I think this week is going to be crucial.
This moving day?
Well,
moving week?
Well, school started. How do you handle that? Because that's another distraction. Because training camp's easy. You're there all the time. It's football 24/7. There's no and granted, I know they don't do much school, but it still is another factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you stay on your routine? How have you adapted your routine? Excuse me. And where do you put in football as this routine has changed? Why is it? How could it change? Okay, you got classes, right? So maybe practice is a little bit different. Okay, so you're not able to kind of be over there all the time because you got to be at class. Now you have to get up at certain different times. Like we see people walking to class, right? And so
streets are popping. They're alive.
So you're doing popping, seriously, like for real. But you got to think, okay, the time that you might have went over there and got an extra lift in or extra film session in, well, now you're in class. But you still have to do that because you're in constant competition mode. Okay, then you got like weights, by the team, meetings, practice. I don't know if they have post meetings. Well, then you got dinner, you got study hall. Okay, I haven't mentioned extra football yet. Okay, so you got to fit that in. Oh, let's say you have, I don't know, a girlfriend or whatever. She comes back on time. Okay, well, you got to prioritize. That can really.
And she probably won't want to go over film with you. Now, it'd be great if she did, but I don't know how helpful that would be sometimes.
Like you got to prioritize now. So that can sway the competition because there's distractions, right? And your improvement might have been based on being able to have football overload, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that has to continue, and you have to actually be more efficient with it during the season because you have other obligations. And so I think the most competitive room on the offensive side, as we will go into this next one, is the running back room and the tight end room in particular after Lindenmeyer.
That's a room that's gotten called out a couple times this year. They're waiting for someone.
They're still talking to you guys, and they might even be talking to all of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're talking to you. Well, listen, I think it was Dana that's done it, right?
Yeah.
Both times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He calls the plays. So this is different than, so-and-so from Husker, blankety blank, right? That's just guessing.
Right.
Because you don't have any established guys behind the starter, right? He's just guessing. This is the dude that's watching the tape, that's watching everybody trying to execute his offense, and he's specifically talking to you guys. So that is actually probably, for me, has the biggest crosshairs on the offensive side. Because they've said they feel good about the running back room.
Mm-hmm.
They said they
all
have
offseason.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so those guys, either behind Lindenmeyer or just as a group got to get a lot better.
The other competition spot potentially would be the offensive line as well, because we heard from Matt Rule over the weekend. He said Gunnar Gatula is among the best 5. We heard that from Jeep Wade. His job is to get 8 guys ready to play. My job is to find the best combination of 5 guys to put on the field for Nebraska. We played that audio for you guys last week. And Trey Babalade has been dealing with an injury. Gunnar Gatula seems to have taken advantage, which leads me then to believe, Jay, the other 4 spots are at least somewhat settled from left to right. Then Pritchett, Mubenga, Evans. Then you get to that right guard position with Brendan Black, and then a right tackle, likely Gunnar Gatula at this point as Babalade comes back from injury. Then you got a bunch of younger guys behind them with a mix of some vets as well, right? Tyler Kanak has been in the mix. He was there for the bowl game last year and has been around. And then it's a bunch of, young guys, here's your opportunity, right? We're going to have to rotate some guys in and out. Offensive line guys, they get rolled up on. They get tired
early.
And early on, see what you got. That's another position on the 2 deep where the 4.5, maybe 5 spots are relatively settled right now. There's a competition for 3. Swing tackle, guard, and I suppose backup center, but Nebraska centers have been to this point relatively healthy.
Yeah, so let's just say the top 6 are set, right?
Sure, yeah.
So it's Pritchett, Mubinga, Evans, Black, Gatula, Babalade, right?
Yep.
So that's your 6.
Mm-hmm.
He said he needs 8.
Mm-hmm.
So it's between
Kanak, Pyle, Bricks.
Right. Sledge.
Talmua.
Yep, Talmua. And he's a young, he was a high 4-star recruit too. And so the talent is there. So when you think about that, it's at home, I think it's your top 9 or 10 at home. On the road, it's your top 8. So
special teams plays a factor here as well.
Yeah, because they're just on that punt protect thing or whatever.
Field goal.
And you probably give maybe the edge to Kanak. He's a redshirt senior. Last year he was in the rotation at starting right tackle. Ideally, you're number 7 and has position flexibility, guard, tackle. So he's your 7. So then it comes down to that race for 8 to get on that plane. And that's the most crucial. And that's a good competition that you can kind of, depending on who's available or not, can kind of be rotational. You could maybe throw another guy in there to have 9 to go, but 8 that's going to play, and you have an extra offensive lineman that travels with you. So you probably feel really good with that room, right? Both with the transfers that you brought in, what they've brought with them as far as like their mental mindset and makeup, and the reaction of it, meaning Elijah Pritchett has stepped up his game from a maturity standpoint, and obviously, should be a better player.
Maturity, consistency.
Right. You showed it last year, assuming it's been since spring and all that, right? So you get pretty much a new recruit in him. And then Gunnar Gatula has been healthy, and so now you see his, potential out there. So now for a guy like Gunnar Gatula and Tree, Tree's a little banged up right now, I think he said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gunnar, if they had to play today, I'm sure Gunnar would be out there. But they're both the same. Both of them have a lot to prove. Both of them have played, but you have a ton to prove. All of them have something to prove. But in particular, you guys have to, you two are going to have to improve. Because I assume their rotation is going to be there unless somebody just really jumps out and really starts to become borderline dominant. And so those two really maybe hold the key to the success of the offensive line this year.
We have one more room to talk about the wide receivers. We'll go to break and do that. We glossed over it. I think that's probably the most established room on the team in terms of names in the first 3, but there is certainly a race for depth and competition there, special teams, returns, and whatnot. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. We'll be back to wrap up Hour 2 in a moment.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Your line just went down. Production stopped. A supervisor wants answers, and someone's digging through a binder for the maintenance history. Every one of those minutes costs money, and most of the time, that breakdown could have been prevented. That's where MaintainX comes in. MaintainX catches the failure before it happens. Preventive maintenance plans on every key asset to improve reliability. Work orders assigned and tracked right from your phone. Everyone from the floor to the front office is in the loop. Real-time dashboards give managers instant visibility into what's been completed, what's overdue, and where the bottlenecks are. No more guesswork. Just a smarter, faster maintenance operation. Companies on MaintainX have cut unplanned downtime by over 30% and save thousands on parts and labor every year. See what it can do for your operation. Try MaintainX free at maintainx.com.
Here's your updated 93.7 The Ticket forecast, sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. Slight chance for showers today, otherwise a blend of clouds and sun. Highs level off around 84. Southeast winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. 68 tonight, partly cloudy skies. Mainly cloudy tomorrow, chance of thunderstorms 87. That's your updated forecast on Lincoln's home for the Kansas City Royals. 93.7 The Ticket. I'm meteorologist Kara Foster. Right now, it's 70 degrees.
The Friends with Jim DeFreeze Auto Parts here in Lincoln would like to take this time out to thank our first responders, doctors, nurses, and the healthcare professionals who put their lives in harm's way for our protection. Blood donation centers need people to donate blood. Be a silent hero and donate blood today. It will help accident victims, surgery patients, sick children, and members of our military. This message is from Jim DeFreeze Auto Parts here in Lincoln. Let's stay united and keep America safe and strong.
If you like freedom and you like floors, ditch the box stores and shop Freedom Floor and find the best luxury vinyl, tile, hardwood, laminate, carpet, and experts at Freedom Flooring. Visit our showroom at 4815 South 14th Street in Lincoln. If you like freedom and you like floors, ditch the box stores and shop Freedom Flooring, a Shaw Floors dealer.
This is your High School Minute.
Hey everyone, this is Connor Crummy with your Southeast Community College High School Minute. High school football was back in action on Friday night with Lincoln Standing Bear notching their first ever Class A football win in school history by defeating Lincoln Northwest 42-6 behind running back DeAndre Hill's 147-yard, 3-touchdown outing. Headlining the slate this week in Class A, on Thursday it's East versus Northeast, Lincoln Northwest versus Omaha Northwest, and North Star on the road taking on Norfolk. On Friday, Lincoln High will head up to Omaha South, Lincoln Southeast will host Millard West, and Lincoln Southwest and Standing Bear will duke it out as well. In Class B, the headliner is Norris hosting state runner-up Gretna East. And in Class C1, we have a major rivalry on tap as well on Friday, with Lincoln Lutheran and Lincoln Christian squaring off. In softball, Lincoln Southwest seems to pick up right where they left off after winning it all last season, starting off 5-1 to begin this year, with just one loss to Hastings on Friday. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
Building a new home can be a challenge, a lot of big choices. With our Remington homes, we have designed 15 different floor plans that appeal to a wide range of people.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, talking about Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier.
People really enjoy being able to go to our website, which is remingtonlincoln.com, pick a plan, pick a price point, go through and build it yourself. You have a lot of options, whether you want granite, painted trim, wood floors, more stone, all options with our Remington homes. People do not want to be married to their house payment. You're able to get what you really want in a home for a great price with very limited stress. And that's what Remington homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket.
We're wrapping up hour 2 of Old School. We've gone through the Nebraska football depth chart on the defensive side and most of the offense. Jay, we do have the wide receiver position to talk about yet. This is one, again, Dana Holgerson, right, has coached a lot of wide receivers and some really good ones at that. Certainly a position that's going to get its fair share of attention. The top 3, if we're assuming Nebraska starts in that 11 personnel with 1 running back, 1 tight end, obviously the quarterback, 5 offensive linemen, that leaves 3 receiving positions open. Likely Isaiah Hunter, Quasi Gilmer, and Ja'Cory Barney Jr. Seems like those guys are pretty settled there, at least from everything we've heard and been told so far this offseason. Then it's the race for depth. How many receivers will Nebraska carry on that 70 to 75-man roster? How many of those guys are contributing on special teams when Nebraska goes 4 wide or 5 wide? Those next few spots up are going to be pretty important.
Yeah, that's the most interesting thing is you know who the 3 starters are, right? And all, things coming out of camp is Gilmer's really been doing well. Hunter, because last year, and you expect an uptick in Barney on a consistent basis. And I think an emphasis is try to get in position to where he can be explosive, right?
Yeah.
So, after that, I think, right along there is the emergence of Quinn Clark. Who of those three, or maybe all three, is he going to eat up some of those plays? Because he's obviously continued to improve, has a different body type, but he can get open and make the hard catches. And then obviously is a great get for him, right? Kind of just showed up out of nowhere. Obviously his dad, Ken Clark, was a great player. Unfortunately passed away. And then obviously he's really exceeded expectations. So who the top four are.
Yeah.
Then after that, where are we? And, what do they provide? Again, can you provide something on special teams? Say, Jacory is really playing well on offense, and you need to give him a blow. So what can you do out of like Mills? Bonner's in there. So let's just say Bonner, he kind of goes into the tight end receiver. So he's like a half. So you have your 4.5 in your receivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So out of like Mills, Miles, Smith, where are those guys at? Who's going to be that 5th or 6th guy in that wide receiver? So as linebackers, you generally want to take like 6, right? 5 or 6. Same thing with receivers. Who are going to be that 5th or that 1.5 guys that's going to really fill out that wide receiver room? And you just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Smith's been a big name, certainly a big body there in that wide receiver room. Demetrius Bell, back from injury, got a little bit of pub. That's a guy, Jay, that back a couple of years ago was going to be the starting slot receiver. Had the unfortunate knee injury, the ACL, and has really been trying to battle back from that. Then you also have to factor in, you mentioned Bonner, Carter Nelson, right?
Yeah.
Is he a wide receiver or is he a tight end? I know he's listed in the tight end room. Is he being used like that, or do they say, hey, you're just going to be a big middle of the field target for us? We can get 2 tight ends on the field, but flex one of you out as a receiver. There's all sorts of different options and combinations as well. Do you think Quinn Clark is a true outside guy, or can Nebraska use him in the slot at all? Will Nebraska kick an Isaiah Hunter inside when it's him, Quinn Clark, and Gilmer in the game? How entrenched in terms of the X, Y, and Z do you think Nebraska is, or do they have some flexibility with that?
They got some flexibility, but I don't think Quinn Clark at like 6'5" or something is going to play like the slot unless they can kind of motion or shift him into that position and use his natural attributes, which is ability to high point the ball and obviously make in traffic catches. So I remember to answer your question, playing against Randy Moss, and I always talk about this play. We had cover 2 Moss, and everybody knew when he got in the slot where he was going, and he started to kill the Patriots on it. But this is when he was with the Vikings, or kill people when he was with the Patriots on it. And he got in the slot, and we had cover 2, and he just was that much better. But that's a 6'4", 6'5".
So where was Randy going against cover 2?
Up the middle on the safety, touchdown, right at the end of the half. I think he probably ran right in the locker room after that. Did a little Bo Jackson. But what my point is very rarely will you put a guy like that in the slot unless you're going to get him the ball. But I think Quinn Clark, when he gets on the outside, I think Hunter gives you the body type and flexibility. Even if you have 4 wide receivers on the field, that he can play in the slot and be effective because he has the body type and physicalness potentially, or physicality enough to be productive.
Big thanks to Graham Tire Company for their sponsorship of Old School. Hour 3 straight ahead.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nutrition Authority invites you to enjoy internet-crushing prices in the back-to-school blowout. We already offer better than internet pricing, but from Monday, August 24th through Saturday, August 29th, we're slashing them even deeper. The back-to-school blowout at Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out on mynutritionauthority.com.
The Amigos Crunchadilla. Not a burrito, not a quesadilla. The Crunchadilla is a salsa tortilla filled with a unique blend of quesadilla flavors, then crisped to perfection for a crunch you'll crave. Loaded with melty cheese, crispy tortilla strips, and of course, Amigos' famous ranch. Get your choice of 4 boldly flavored meats, like Southwest chicken or chorizo, all topped with bacon. Crispy, craveable, and made to crush your hunger. The Crunchadilla, only at Amigos. Amigos value meals are getting an upgrade with more of the bold, fresh flavors you love. Now we have 9 options for only $5, $6, or $7. With fries and a small drink, these are full meals for a small price. There's something for everyone with the new Chicken Ranchero Burrito or Quesadilla Snackers. Even Amigos favorites like the soft meat burrito or crisp pinto are now in value meals. With a deal this good, we'll be seeing you all the time at Amigos.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is your High School Minute.
Hey everyone, this is Connor Crumey with your Southeast Community College High School Minute. High school football was back in action on Friday night with Lincoln Standing Bear notching their first ever Class A football win in school history by defeating Lincoln Northwest 42-6 behind running back DeAndre Hill's 147-yard 3-touchdown outing. Headlining the slate this week in Class A, on Thursday it's East versus Northeast, Lincoln Northwest versus Omaha Northwest, and North Star on the road taking on Norfolk. On Friday, Lincoln High will head up to Omaha South, Lincoln Southeast will host Millard West, and Lincoln Southwest and Standing Bear will duke it out as well. In Class B, the headliner is Norris hosting state runner-up Gretna East. And in Class C1, we have a major rivalry on tap as well on Friday, with Lincoln Lutheran and Lincoln Christian squaring off. In softball, Lincoln Southwest seems to pick up right where they left off after winning it all last season, starting off 5-1 to begin this year, with just one loss to Hastings on Friday. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
Looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils. Hot, bold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
Good work, good people, good community. That's what Schweitzer Construction is built on. For over 40 years, we've been constructing commercial spaces across Lincoln and showing up for the community long after the last brick is laid. We're growing our team, and we're looking for hardworking people who want to be part of something that they're proud of. Come build with us at schwizow.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Here's your updated 93.7 The Ticket forecast, sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. Slight chance for showers today, otherwise a blend of clouds and sun. Highs level off around 84. Southeast winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. 68 tonight, partly cloudy skies. Mainly cloudy tomorrow, chance of thunderstorms 87. That's your updated forecast on Lincoln's home for the Kansas City Royals. 93.7 The Ticket. I'm meteorologist Kara Foster. Right now, it's 70 degrees.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Coy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score. Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hour 3 of Old School on a Monday. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. Thank you for dialing up the show here to get your week started off right. Get our week started off right with plenty of Nebraska football conversation. We will turn our attention to the big leagues, to the pros here, to the NFL in just a moment. But first, a shout out to Graham Tire Company, celebrating 75 years of serving the Midwest. More than just tires, they do all kinds of car and light truck repairs too. From brakes to oil changes, trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. Graham Tire, getting you to the places that matter most. Jay, we teased this in the first segment of the show. About 9:15 today, the Cleveland Browns named Deshaun Watson their starting quarterback, probably because of that sterling press conference performance he put on over the weekend.
I can't believe it, man.
Or not.
I can't believe. I mean, I can, but I can't. I know the money is a factor because if they cut him right now, it's almost twice as much as the dead cap money that the Dolphins have when they got rid of Tua. So I understand that with Cleveland. I do understand the financial ramifications. But to be honest with you, Cleveland, even if he plays good, all hell has to break loose for a team to trade for him. And they're not trading for him while he has $40 million. You're going to eat majority. Say they need somebody's a quarterback needy, right? Like the Cardinals or something.
Right.
You're paying that anyways. You're paying three-quarters of it anyways in order for the trade to go through. You're getting minimal relief anyways. And Shedeur Sanders has outplayed him both in mini camps, training camp, preseason, and he's the leader, unquestioned leader of the team. And I get it. You want to try to get some value of him, but nobody's taking him next year.
Oh, there's a sunk cost. There's no return on investment. There's whatever you have on Deshaun Watson right now. Give up any hope for any sort of value.
Nobody is taking him. A team will. There's a GM out there that will go to the owner and be like, "I'm not going to take him with even the risk of getting fired, unless which Deshaun Watson hasn't shown to do to the magnitude for people to give him a second and third chance. Well, this is probably like his eighth chance, really.
Right.
But showing humility, showing how to handle, adversity. And then more importantly, he has to play at a level that makes it worth it just for the chance that he might have another mishap. He hasn't done any of that.
No.
I mean, I get it. I feel I do not like how Cleveland fans handled it when he got hurt and they booed him.
Or they cheered that he got hurt.
Or they cheered,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I don't like that. That's bad on the fans, no matter what. I do remember when Rob Johnson got blasted when we played the Dolphins. I shouldn't even be laughing. He got blasted up into the heated seats, and the fans were not cheering, but they were they were cheering too much, I felt, for Alex Van Pelt to come in the game when I was in Buffalo. And Rob was getting paid a lot of money. But he had done with Deshaun Watson. He just ain't, it just didn't work out, right? Rob was a good quarterback. It just, the situation didn't, tend to be successful. So I understand where Deshaun Watson comes from that. It came from that. But homeboy, you've been jet setting, wheeling, dealing all off season with these Cleveland Browns fans, their money all over the world, yachts, all types of stuff. And then the thing that you do is get up there and go after the fans while you're putting in probably your $10,000 diamond earring in. You just asking for it. You played like crap, right? The young dude, has been outplaying you. Reality hits you. And I get your press conference. And then now Cleveland, you turn around and reward him by starting him. Your season's over.
Before it began. Oh, by the way, the best player in the last 20 is Joe Thomas at the very least. You traded him away. You don't even have that bright spot. Cool, you signed a cornerback who's now on an island by himself. You have nothing going for you, and you continue to make the problem worse with some of these decisions. Big Haas says, oh, come on, Sanders is not the starting quarterback. Gabriel might even be better,
That's a personal... I do not understand how people are mad at Shedeur Sanders. Dylan Gabriel is horrible.
It's not necessarily better than Shedeur.
He never has been. He never will be. Get that out of your mind. Period. He never was better than Shedeur Sanders. He never will be.
But his college stats.
Yeah, he's never, and you know what? Dylan Gabriel could be a viable backup in the NFL for quite some time, but he's not even good enough to do that right now.
Not right now.
And the NFL, I guess, in theory, taught him a lesson by drafting him, making it was essentially a coup for you to draft him later. But he had like the number one jersey sales in the whole in the whole league. He made that money back. Yeah. Even if he went third round. So you embarrassed him for a day, he won for 364 days. Right? So Shedeur is your Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is your best player, your best quarterback. That doesn't even mean Shedeur Sanders is one of the best is like in the top 14, but he's dang sure the best quarterback for Cleveland.
He might not even be in the top 24.
Right.
But he's probably the best for Cleveland.
You're right. And my point is this. Those veterans on that team, you just traded for Verse, who's been in Super Bowl contention, going from a first-class organization. Your defense is your bright spot. You just drafted a pretty good offensive lineman. You have a pretty decent offensive line, pretty physical. You just lost your starting tight end, but you have Fan and a really good tight end. So you kind of maybe upgraded there, I felt like, right?
Sure.
So you have a nice little core of young guys, including Shedeur Sanders. They showed some spark. On top of, you traded and you paid Jerry Jeudy. Homeboy dropped 10 passes last year. 10 legitimate passes. This is not even counting the times that he ran the wrong routes, right? Or, put the quarterback out there and then they took the credit. And that's including Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, and Shedeur Sanders. So Cleveland is going to Cleveland. Their season's over. They haven't even played a game yet, man. They know they can't win with Deshaun Watson. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you this. I remember when Deshaun Watson was in Houston. It was thought of at that time when he was rolling in his first 5 years in Houston, he was head and shoulders better than Patrick Mahomes. Why was that? He did more with less and produced more than Patrick Mahomes. He took them to the playoffs. He made other people better. That's gone.
Oh, and guess what? He had the college resume to back it up too.
But
Mahomes didn't.
But all that's gone.
Squandered it all.
All that's gone. And it's gone because of this. The emotional damage. And it's his fault. The emotional damage. Number one, you were on the shelf for 2 years. Okay, so your skills are just deteriorated, right? So, but the emotional toll is what people aren't talking about. Now it's his fault, right? But it's not. He's not the same player. He's not the same person. They're hoping that they're going to have a glimpse of it, that somebody's going to be dumb enough and be like, all right, we got the old Deshaun Watson back from 5 years ago. From 5 years ago. Not even a guy that's been playing consistently in between, or like Baker Mayfield, you get caught in a bad situation because you were hurt. Then you get down to a place where, they were just kind of rebuilding. Then you go to the Rams and you kind of showed some life, and then you're on a prove-it deal. This dude been in Cleveland, just hanging out. I mean, he's been hurt, and it's been a tumultuous, time. And for Deshaun Watson, for him, he has to start. Personally, he feels like he's trying to reestablish himself, and he's trying to play his way out of this situation. But he's not going to get another, in my opinion, he's not going to get another chance, a legitimate chance, unless everything outside of that gets better.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL that can't play dead. We've seen them. And at times, Shedeur Sanders played like crap. Jacoby Brissett is about to start. He's shown some warts, right? But all those guys don't have this off the field stuff. And in order for Deshaun Watson, considering everybody in the league, and this is including the decision makers, you've made enough money, $240 million guaranteed, and you ain't done tiddly poo. Why am I going to keep giving you money? Because you know why Phillip Rivers got off the couch after being out the league? Is because they felt like he earned his money. And he deserved that extra. Well, he got that extra $1 million or $2 million, but then he got that 5 years extra insurance. So it's worth it. Deshaun Watson's the exact opposite.
Well, and you can go through a whole litany of quarterbacks, right? Daniel Jones, was trending toward being a backup. Got another chance, made the most of it. Sam Darnold, Geno Smith. You can go on. Kyler Murray, we'll see if it's up there for him. They got a second chance because they earned it on the field, or at least they didn't give it away off the field. And you say the emotional part of things, Jay. I'm sure this has been difficult in some ways for Deshaun Watson. Not to say he's the victim here, because again,
he's not,
brought it on himself. He has
Yeah.
to own it. He has to take accountability. And when he says stuff like, it has nothing to do about the performance, it feels a little bit personal. I think it's a disrespectful thing about the fans booing him at the preseason game in Cleveland. And here's the thing. Number one, that's kind of what you sign up for, right? The fans have a voice. The fans have a vote with their wallet, with who they choose to support. And to me, it feels like the Browns are completely ignoring that emotional element. That is a dedicated, passionate fan base that has continued to show up despite all of this. And I think asking the fans who want the team to win to either put aside their will to win because they want to root against Deshaun Watson for his personal missteps and lack of play on the field, both in whatever, part, to ask them to root for their team not to win is a horrible thing to ask. I think we all understand, hey, injuries happen. Sometimes you go in the tank. But to have to put your support behind that guy being the one to lead that team to wins isn't a good thing, especially if, and let's just say if, just for the purpose of conversation, if there's not a noticeable, appreciable gap consistently between Watson and Sanders.
Yeah.
If all it was Deshaun Watson and the money and the cap it, he's not good. You boo him when he takes the field for the preseason game because he's expensive, but you give Shedeur Sanders the starting nod. Hey, we had a bad contract, maybe the worst contract of all time, or close to it in the NFL. But you know what? The light's at the end of the tunnel. We just got to wait it out a couple of years. We'll be fine. But when you start Deshaun Watson without an appreciable difference in talent, where he doesn't earn back the right to show off there's an appreciable gap in talent, you're going to piss your fans off. And it shows that what the owners, the Haslams, et cetera, care about is the money. Well, we can't get any value back. The closest thing we can get to value is he's got to be out there on the field. Fans, have been coming to games for Cleveland. It's still the NFL show in town. Ohio State's got to be a hotter ticket at this point. Fans have got to be more emotionally invested in Ohio State, which is where I think the Haslams would hear these boos and normal owners would respond, hey, we made a mistake. We're trying to get out of it. They don't understand how hard it is. But the best thing we can do is not put it out there on Main Street. The best thing we can do is take the spotlight off of it. Hey, look over here. Hey, look at this other quarterback that we drafted. Hey, look at how we're developing him. And they refuse to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a hard position to be in, obviously, as an owner, because, you made the mistake of not giving him all that money, and you gave him all that money after he just was suspended. I mean, it's the weirdest thing. It wasn't like you just came off like an MVP year. Homeboy was like in timeout.
Yeah.
First of all, the Houston Texans took up a roster spot. So they were, instead of a 53-man roster, they were a 52-man roster because of Deshaun Watson.
They cost some man a job to keep him on the roster.
You turned around. The league wouldn't even give him an exemption. The league said, you do what you have to do, but you're not getting anything. You're not getting any help from us. And you gave him $240 million guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Right? Now you're
every
doubling
last
down.
cent.
Now you're doubling down on it, because if there was a huge gap between Deshaun Watson's play and Shedeur Sanders, it wouldn't be a question. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in that locker room knows. Now, the best thing Deshaun Watson can do, if he wants all this stuff to go away, right, is to go out there and play well. That means, and also play well and play reckless.
But do it quietly. Don't run your mouth about fans this, fans that. Handle your business.
Nobody likes to get booed. I'm going to tell you this. I will never forget being in Buffalo, right? And, granted, we were winning all the time. They didn't have anything to boo. Actually, we're going to talk about this. There's only one time in Memorial Stadium when I was here that I heard some boos. But I remember going into the locker room, and I don't know who we were playing, and we did not play well in that first half as a team. Now, I think we might have been winning, but it was kind of like a ho-hum. It was not a very...
Up 3 should have been up 10.
Yeah, it was like, we were up it was like 9-3. It was not a very aesthetically pleasing game. When I tell you, I don't know how many fans were there, all 60,000, they were giving us the business. Now, that was a byproduct of the last 2 years we made the playoffs. Expectations were high, and maybe we were coming off a loss, or I think it was after we played Seattle and we got
that long cross-country flight.
We got the brakes beat off us, and we just got Cortez Kennedy was just housing us. Well, anyways, we were getting booed. That halftime, that locker room was significantly different, but it was the first time I heard fans booing, right? And so it was different, right? But that's, it didn't stop me from doing what I needed to do. and then we end up turning around the second half, right? Now, for him individually, that's probably a hard pill to swallow. And look, generally they say, you know, before the media comes into the locker room, they give you 5 minutes to compose yourself, 10 minutes. That was a league rule or something like that. You know, that doesn't just go away in 5 or 10 minutes, take a shower, then you get up there in front of the whole media, like the whole big media, because they probably aren't meeting with him at his locker. He was
on the stage at the table.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and on top of Shedeur Sanders playing well, right? Because, you know, and so.
Or at least better.
Well, yeah, played better than him. And he played well. He went like 8 or 8, and then one interception was just a placement ball. So those are kind of things that can be fixed. They're way fixable. Where Deshaun Watson didn't look well. So you see the emotions coming out. But ultimately, if he wants all that to go away, you got to play well. And reckless, what I mean by reckless, if you want the Cleveland fans to get behind you, one, like you said, do it and be quiet, right? So when you have success, it's not I told you or me against the fans. I mean, no. You're just appreciative to be out there because you do need to. You should be appreciative every day that you actually get to put on a Cleveland Browns uniform because there's a lot of guys that have performed better than you that are at home at different positions. So for him, by reckless, he needs to sell out. So say Jerry Jeudy doesn't separate. One of the fastest receivers can't get open, right? It can't get open. And you're going for a first down. There ain't no sliding. Now, granted, I know you got to protect your shoulder, but you got to dive for that first down. You gotta show that you're like playing for something bigger than yourself. Then when you start getting a couple wins, you play well, those boos start turning into cheers. But if you kind of sulk and think that it's personal, yeah, it's personal. Them dudes, them people are probably paying hundreds of dollars to come, you know, to see you. And you ain't done nothing. What you expect them to say?
And it's a weird concept that we take sports as personally as we do. But when
it is,
but when you get hooked on it and that's your team,
and nothing
else is going on in Cleveland. The guards are falling out of the wild card race, and the Cavs just think James Harden did $29 million a year, whatever it is, and they haven't had a chance to talk about that. But it was like 30-something, 3 for 97. It was a lot. Anyways, when you choose your team, you should never feel like you care more about it than they do. And I know fans trick them, fanatics, right? You go back to that all the time, and it's true. You only know how you feel, right? You've been in locker rooms. You know how much work goes on, and there's no way fans could actually care as much or invest as much. But in their minds, they think they do. I show up. I spend my money. I sit in traffic. I buy concessions. I watch the games. I go to work. I teach my kids. They feel invested. And when perception becomes reality to these fans about how much they tell you they invest, they want to see that same thing from you. And again, they'll never know a tenth of it behind the scenes. But it's that perception where they feel like they're more invested when the quarterback slides. Oh, come on, you needed one more yard. Lower the shoulder once. They don't know what shoulder rehab looks like, but they know what they put into it. And so they expect you to put on the same face of, hey, I'm putting this much into it as well.
Yeah, I mean, he has talent, or, you know, he does have it somewhere in his body still, obviously. You don't get to the apex where he was and then just lose like everything. It's more of a mental thing. You know, there's a reason why Taysom Hill is a fan favorite. What did he do? He was just out there playing football. That's what he needs to do. I do understand it, man. I'm going to tell you, I always talk about this experience. I was in Buffalo, all right? And it was my third year, and I played another year after that. I was playing pretty good that season. We played Seattle Seahawks. This is when they had Steve Hutchinson, Hasselbeck, This is when Sean Alexander was rolling.
Bad cover athlete, Sean Alexander.
And they had the first round pick Robinson from the wide receiver, and they were pretty good they were a pretty good team. And I used to I'll date myself. The statute of limitations is over. So I used to buy these like black direct TV cards from this dude. So he'd go to Canada, so you could get all the channels. Like everything. Fights and everything. And some channels I don't want to talk about on the radio. So I get all that. But
you had to scroll past them to get to what you wanted to watch. That's what.
No, I was watching them all of them.
Yeah, get your money's worth.
Hey, I was watching all of them. I was getting my money's worth, especially when the homeboys. I was watching. I was studying. You know what I'm saying? No, I'll just play. So it cost you about like $250 or something. But then he started to like juice us, and like he was like all of us had it, me and Bryce or whatever. So he'd come like on our day off, so we play Sunday. Never forget this. Played this I think we played Seattle. I think I might have had like 12, 13, 14 tackles or something.
Mm-hmm.
So we're sitting there, and to get a hold of the dude, it was always, like, dude, you going to show up? You say you're going to be here at 2, you ain't here to 4, messing up my day off.
Mm.
Man, so he's hooking it back up, and then it was like he had to push all these buttons and kind of get it situated, kind of reboot the DirecTV or whatever we had. And then he's like, hey, man. He turned around literally, like from me to you. And it's like, hey, man, how do you think you played on Sunday? I was like, oh, I did all right. He's like, yeah, he was pretty productive. I mean, I had tackle for loss or something like that. And, some tackles and stuff. He's like, hey, man, how you missed that tackle on 3rd and 6 against Sean Alexander? He's like, you're better than that. Look, and was dead serious about it.
You're better than that.
Like, how'd you miss that tackle? And I was like, what? He was like, yeah. He's like,
you heard me.
How you missed that tackle, man? I was like, well, he's pretty good. I was like, I took a bad angle. He's like, oh, okay. I just wanted to know. Then the other time I told you I was getting a oil change. And this is the oil change in Buffalo where you stay in the car and they kind of jack it up,
Whoa.
Nice. And, they put it up there so
you
could just be in there. And the guy's just talking to me. And he had, knew, what was the old St. Louis Rams called? Jimmy Haslett. So Jimmy, he played for Buffalo, and he talked about, Jimmy Haslett. We'd be down in, down at this place where the bars were called Soho. We was like they partied together, and he was like, "Hey man," he's like, "You play linebacker in Buffalo. Our expectations, you play good. Now, mind you, I couldn't go anywhere because I got out of the car. I'm gonna fall down. But that's just the fans are serious. They take it serious. The Buffalo fans were for real, like." They knew who was good and who was playing hard and not. And they would treat you as such. So for Deshaun Watson, Buffalo and Cleveland are just essentially cousins. They're the same. They're in the armpit of America. Straight up. Yeah. You go, like when I drive from Minneapolis or Lincoln to Buffalo, you drive through Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you the story that I heard when I was on the radio in Cleveland because when you go through big cities, granted I didn't have any satellite back then, you'd always like kind of try to get the hip hop stations.
Mm-hmm.
And so, go through Cleveland and, it's a long like loop around there. So yeah, it's passionate. Cleveland fans are passionate. So Deshaun Watson, you should expect nothing else. So either you're going to deal with it and embrace it and find a way to be positive about it. Because I think if he changes his tune and plays well, and then it's showing, the biggest thing then he's going to have to show the willingness to be a backup after that.
Mm-hmm. A couple more things to get to on this. Let's go ahead and go to break. We'll keep this going. And then you said you had your story from the one time you heard booze at Memorial Stadium. So we'll wrap this up on the Browns with a text from our starter.
Hey, some people don't get over that though. I understand that though. You got to stand on business.
Yeah.
But business stood on you.
It happens occasionally. More on this as we continue Old School.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The friends with Jim DeFreeze Auto Parts here in Lincoln would like to take this time out to thank our first responders, doctors, nurses, and the healthcare professionals who put their lives in harm's way for our protection. Blood donation centers need people to donate blood. Be a silent hero and donate blood today. It will help accident victims, surgery patients, sick children, and members of our military. This message is from Jim DeFreeze Auto Parts here in Lincoln. Let's stay united and keep America safe and strong.
Why did Pete Ricketts spend millions to get himself appointed to the U.S. Senate? Ricketts knows D.C. is paid to play. Since going to D.C., Ricketts has increased his net worth almost 30%. He voted to lower his own taxes and made a killing dumping shares before a looming government shutdown. Meanwhile, he's opposed every serious attempt to ban congressional stock trading. Nebraskans can't afford lawmakers enriching themselves while our costs go through the roof. Tell Senator Ricketts to support the Ban Congressional Stock Trading Act now. This communication paid for by Nebraska Groundswell.
Looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils. Hot, bold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
You started your business to build something special. Now it's time to grow and protect it. At Pinnacle Bank, our treasury management services help you do just that. Through smarter payment technology, account administration, and fraud protection. So no matter the size of your business, you can get the most out of your financial operations. Request your free consultation at pinbank.com/consult. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions with pay starting at 23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offer great pay, health, dental, and vision, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Hey, Jake, you know what I love almost as much as the Big Red?
Big scores on the field?
Good guess, but nope.
Big spikes on the court?
Love those too, but I'm thinking food. Like those big, budget-friendly portions you find at Buzzard Billy's.
Now you're talking. I love Buzzard Billy's. I love the shrimp po' boys and the blackened chicken.
You almost always find me enjoying gumbo.
Big plays, big scores, big wins, Big Red. Yep, love them all, especially
those big portions that are budget-friendly. Only at Buzzard Billy's, A-Market.
Remember your first Salt Dogs game? Maybe it was a class trip out on the berm, or date night with actual fireworks, or team building that didn't feel like work at all. For 25 seasons, Haymarket Park remains Lincoln's place for firsts like these, the kind that last. Because it's more than a baseball game. It's the joy of being here together. These are the traditions that bring us home. So here's to you, Lincoln. Your local tradition plays on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy, so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, lease a 2026 Ford F-150 for $195 per month for 36 months. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1009974, $195 per month, lease for 36 months with approved credit, 7,500 miles per year, 10,000 due at signing, no security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 8/31/26.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier, furry friends.
Good work, good people, good community. That's what Schweitzer Construction is built on. For over 40 years, we've been constructing commercial spaces across Lincoln and showing up for the community long after the last brick is laid. We're growing our team, and we're looking for hardworking people who want to be part of something that they're proud of. Come build with us at schwizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Nutrition Authority invites you to enjoy internet-crushing prices in the back-to-school blowout. We already offer better than internet pricing, but from Monday, August 24th through Saturday, August 29th, we're slashing them even deeper. The back-to-school blowout at Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out on mynutritionauthority.com.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Talking some NFL quarterback situation. We'll get to Jay's story. See if it's the same one the text line is telling. 402-464-5685. Husker Hall of Famer, black shirt NFL veteran Jay Foreman over there. I am Austin Orman. Jay, we got this from Albert Breer, reporting for the Monday Morning Quarterback and NBC Sports in Boston. He says the decision for the Browns came down to the full body of work. Deshaun Watson was better and more consistent over time before a tough day Saturday and practiced well against the Bills on Thursday. At least that's the company line from Cleveland. Take it for what it's worth. Albert Breer then adds these next two pieces. The other thing that I've said all along, it's easier to go from Watson to Sanders than the other way around. If this doesn't work, Cleveland can pivot. Also, Sanders took the news in stride this morning. He was smiling as it was emphasized to him that he's playing the long game here, said that he got it.
Yeah, he understands. He understands. He understands where he's at. He understands he's a better, he's the better player. And, look, Shedeur Sanders has done things like as far as perceived humility wrong or whatever. But you got to give him credit just like I give anybody else credit. He's shown the humility to deal with adversity based on how the draft went, how last year went, and how this went.
People's opinions of him that don't even know him but make him heard.
Right, but he's handled it better. His press conferences are better, or like more. I mean, they never were bad, but
less defensive, less attacking fans, yeah,
all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And don't tell me that Deshaun Watson was more consistent. No, he was not. But that's what you have to tell everybody. Right. I understand it. Everybody knows you got to listen. You're paying him money that you guaranteed him, so you're going to play him. And the best point out of all of it, it's easier to go from Watson to Shedeur than from Shedeur to Watson. Here's my problem with that. That lets me know you have no intentions on building with anybody in that quarterback room. I guess besides Dylan Gabriel, because he's just always going to be your all-time backup, and he's cheap, because you're not even giving Shedeur Sanders a chance to show that he can possibly be maybe not a franchise quarterback. I think is used too loosely, but just a viable quarterback for the next couple of years. Because when he gets the chance to play, they're probably going to be out of the playoffs. So that means you have guys out there just packing it in. Veterans will be like, all right, going into reserve or something like that. And you have no chance to win. So you don't even know you can't even evaluate him. Can he help you win a big game? Your playoff chances will be pretty much over.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just going to get more from last year. And plus, it's going to take him 2 or 3 weeks to get going. And then what? Say he has a couple bad games and you're going to throw Dylan Gabriel in there because you're either going to want to try to increase his trade value or to see what you got with him.
Start him and Joe's text line.
It's Cleveland.
Cleveland, gun Cleveland.
Yeah.
And that's what, who was it who said that? I think it was Thomas and maybe it wasn't. I forget who it was. I found it, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Cleveland's still going to be Cleveland, essentially. If I find a way to make the Cleveland decision, as they always do.
I mean, it's a no-win situation. I mean, they made one bad decision. Anything they've done after this, any decision after that is never going to be the right decision unless Deshaun Watson plays well this year. Then they'll be like, all right, this is what we, envisioned, but, circumstances didn't lead to it. Because if they cut him, it's a huge cap hit, and you're really hurting yourself for the future.
$30 million more than the biggest cap hit previously, which was
Tua for
55
56 million. So you can't do that because financially it will literally put the clamps on you in the future to build, right? And then if you play him and he doesn't perform or really hasn't performed up to the point that where he's the foregone starter, then you get this. But also the tea leaves, or this decision was dropped about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, the report came out of there, and then they really squashed it. But the report came out from she's a lady reporter. She's been covering Cleveland forever.
Oh yeah,
and she said, no matter what happens, Deshaun Watson is going to be the week 1 starter. She said it, and took a little heat from it. But then now she obviously knew what was going to happen, and so look, we'll see what happens. I hope he plays well. You always wish that he can. You always wish the best for people to try to make a comeback story and right the wrong. I mean, nobody's perfect. There's not any player that I don't think played in the NFL that's never kind of had mishaps. But ultimately, if he starts out slow, in that first week and start skipping rock balls out there or some drops that has nothing to do with him, he's going to hear the booth. And the booth can affect people a long time.
Yeah. Speaking of, you heard them echo and ring through Memorial Stadium one time, Jay.
Yeah.
Is it the same story Scott and Lincoln is telling against UCF?
It was after, I think it was after we lost to Arizona State in 96.
Came back home.
Yeah, and so Scott obviously he transferred back from Stanford, redshirted, took his lumps via Jason and Grant, in the pit. Everybody did, but he took his lumps. And Tommy Frazier left, and they just handed him the keys to the Ferrari. And obviously the Arizona State game did not work out well. We had 3 safeties, offense looked inept, and we just got beat. And that next week, I think we were playing Colorado State. We might have been playing UCF or whatever it was, or maybe we played Colorado State. Yeah, no, we played UCF in 97 and we beat them. We were playing, I think, Colorado State or somebody.
It would have gone Michigan State, Arizona State, Colorado State. Yep.
Yeah, and wasn't playing well, and that was where Frankie London was a pretty big quarterback recruit out of Louisiana. Kind of waited his turn, had a good spring. And, everybody at that point, as soon as you have a mishap, then they're like, all right, you give it to Coach Osborne. He's not going to do that. But everybody was calling for, everybody loves the backup. And Frankie, I think, had played decently, in mop-up duty or whatever. And the boos was ringing. And it not justified. I mean, we all lost that game. We did not play well. Arizona State played the game of their life.
And people gloss over the fact that was a top 20 team at the time.
Yeah, they ended up making the Rose Bowl. That was a magical year for them and those guys. And we just did not play well that night. That was their night. We had some stuff going on, but that was their night. Obviously, the quarterback, you're going to take a lot of the blame. Nobody played well, including Scott. And I do remember him talking about it while he was here. Still. So it can affect you for a long time. And rightfully so, because he probably feels, I mean, look, you're a quarterback, and look, Derek Rogers was living in our backfield. That ain't got nothing to do with him. We just didn't play good. We got beat. They scored on us in the first drive on defense. After that, they didn't do anything, but we got beat. And,
if you can't give up 7 points, I mean, come on.
Well, that's with our standard. We just got beat. We didn't come out with the good energy. We got beat. And but I understand it though. And look, man, it's.
Did you think he was always just kind of looking over his shoulder, or like kind of trying to keep his ear to the ground?
Scott?
Yeah.
Like as far as that year?
Well, not just that. Well, maybe we can start with
afterwards?
that year, 96 and 97.
Probably.
And then when he comes back, do you think there was some of that just.
Probably. It's just natural. I mean, look, when you're a head coach, and you always got that, because look, you're in the pressure cooker here at Nebraska. You get a lot of things. You get paid handsomely, right? Every coach that's been here has been paid phenomenally, and they're well taken care of, and you get a lot of pats on the back. But during that time when Scott was here, I always talk about he had COVID hit and weren't doing as well, and there was a perception of other stuff, and so people were in your business, and he threw the ball over the bow or whatever you call it in his first press conference. He's like, my family's off limits, bro. Hey.
Good try.
That ain't gonna happen. You ain't even off limits,
right?
So I'm sure it was, some of that stuff, and some probably rightfully so in his point. But that's just part of that's the nature of the job, and you got to learn how to deal with it. I mean, granted, the media coverage wasn't at the magnitude when we were here, but Coach Osborne was out. Like you'd see him. Even now, I mean, he's out. You see him on high school basketball games.
Oh yeah.
So it's all how you handle it and stuff like that. But that was obviously an interesting time. But then I'll give Scott credit. That next year, when he came back, it was a different player. I think he had a ton of confidence. He got better, and he was a big reason why we won the national championship. There's no doubt about it. You cannot take that away from him. That year versus 96, obviously, I think he was a better player. I think we were a better team. I think he was a better teammate in his way of being a teammate. And I think he, was a big part of us winning a national championship, as we all were. Can't take that away from him.
Flags fly forever.
Yeah.
But then it becomes what you focus on and what you fixate on. And we can tie this together, Nebraska, Deshaun Watson, all of it. Stay in the moment, right? But you also have to be able to dip back into that memory bank of reserve for, I'm a good player. I know what I can do. I'm a good coach. I know how to call plays. You can't live in the past. Oh, why are they so focused on the present?
Yeah.
Like, well, look at what I've done for. Why can't we move on from the present and look ahead to the future, learn and grow from it? Because it's all an accumulation. They have the past as evidence. They have the present as evidence. And that informs how they think about what the future is going to be. And so I think part of that maturity for Deshaun Watson, maybe for Scott Frost as he continues to grow as a head coach, is understanding when the right time is to hone in on what's right in front of you and when you need to draw back onto the past and make sure you take the right lesson away from it and not live there, but bring it out of the past to apply back to today.
I mean, you use what your success in the past for is just to, continue to build confidence and just, get you moving past some of those dark times, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know exactly who you were and who you are and who you could be, but you won't get there until all the other little things start to, get in line. The best thing Deshaun Watson could do is, in my opinion, is as a grown man, get up in front of the team. Maybe he's done this and say, listen, I know a lot of stuff has been going on. I know, since I've been here, things have not gone the way I wanted or the way Cleveland, but I'm going to tell you what, from here on out, and he probably should have done this before.
3 years ago?
Yeah, but just even like this year, you got a new coach, right?
Oh,
everything. Yeah. I'm going to be the best teammate that I possibly can be. I'm going to work as hard as I can. And the only thing I ask is that you take me as I am now as the best teammate and we work together and let's go out there and do something magical. That's the best thing he can do, because that'll really hyper focus him on what's the most important thing. And then also, look, as he gets older, once the NFL officially retires you and you get to your say 35 or older for him, 40 or whatever, then you want to look back and have some relationships that you can really lean on, because ultimately when you think about it, for him in the football locker room, things happen all the time. I mean, I played with some dudes that had some stuff going on, and I by no means was perfect. Football kind of always, in that locker room, you always accept the guys for who they are. You know what I'm saying? And you give them many chances. You're more understanding, and you always be there for a teammate. And so,
no matter how much you like them or don't like,
right? You always try to do it. Now it's different in the pros because you kind of all go your separate ways after practice is over. But ultimately, man, you got a young team. A lot of guys that are just probably out just trying to figure it out. You can try to build a relationship with these guys to, when you, later on, man, you want to be able to kind of have those, because you're going to go through something else. You want to be able to have people you can pick up the phone and, conversate with.
Speaking of that, did the Browns do enough to support Deshaun Watson when he first got to town? Let's wrap up with that and put a bow on Old School that way.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy, so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, lease a 2026 Ford F-150 for $195 per month for 36 months. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1009974. $195 per month lease for 36 months with approved credit. 7,500 miles per year. 10,000 due at signing. No security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees expert. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 8/31/26.
Save big on your outdoor projects at Menards. Shop the largest in-stock selection of pressure-treated lumber and thick decking. All easy to load in our drive-through lumber yard. Plus, you can design the deck of your dreams for free with our easy-to-use Deck Designer. Save big on Menards' selection of pressure-treated lumber and thick decking. Also, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and new Sierra and Silverado trucks continue to roll in, and August is a great time to upgrade. Right now, get new GMC Sierras for under $50,000. Or get 2.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,500 bonus cash. Visit us in Louisville or anytime at koppelcars.com. Stock number G306367 with approved credit.
Good work, good people, good community. That's what Schweitzer Construction is built on. For over 40 years, we've been constructing commercial spaces across Lincoln and and showing up for the community long after the last brick is laid. We're growing our team, and we're looking for hardworking people who want to be part of something that they're proud of. Come build with us at Schwizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Here's your updated 93.7 The Ticket forecast, sponsored by Bryant Air Conditioning, Electrical, Heating, and Plumbing. High temperatures reach up to 84 this afternoon under mainly clear skies, southeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows around 68 tonight. Chance for storms tomorrow, highs level off around 87, mainly cloudy. That's your updated forecast on Lincoln's home for the Kansas City Royals. 93.7 The Ticket. I'm meteorologist Kara Foster. Right now, it's 74 degrees.
Nutrition Authority invites you to enjoy internet-crushing prices in the back-to-school blowout. We already offer better than internet pricing, but from Monday, August 24th through Saturday, August 29th, we're slashing them even deeper. The back-to-school blowout on Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out on mynutritionauthority.com.
Sports remind us what's possible when we believe in each other, when teamwork and trust matter just as much as talent. On and off the field or court, we're stronger when we work together. That's why at UBT, your money has people who have your back. From financial coaching and goal setting to home loans and business support. Success happens when you've got the right team, and you'll find yours at UBT. Union Bank and Trust, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions with pay starting at 23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offer great pay, health, dental, and vision, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier, furry friends.
Hey, Jake, you know what I love almost as much as the Big Red?
Big scores on the field?
Good guess, but nope.
Big spikes on the court?
Love those too, but I'm thinking food. Like those big, budget-friendly portions you find at Buzzard Billy's.
Now you're talking. I love Buzzard Billy's. I love the shrimp po' boys and the blackened chicken.
You almost always find me enjoying gumbo.
Big plays, big scores, big wins, Big Red. Yep, love them all, especially
those big portions that are budget-friendly. Only at Buzzard Billy's, A-Market.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Putting a bow on old school. Austin Norman and Jay Foreman with you. Wrapping up a heavy football show here on a Monday, as it should be, as week 0 is here in college football. It's upon us. We'll talk more about that throughout the course of the week. Jay, we mentioned this going into break. Did the Browns do enough to help Deshaun Watson succeed? And I don't just mean skill positions, offensive line, etc. I mean, in that room, right? He's a vet. He'd been around the block when they trade for him and sign him. But his backup quarterback situation, when he first got there, is Jacoby Brissett. Started 11 games. Deshaun Watson got 6. I love Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Journeyman, right? Focused on his own career in a lot of ways. Next year, The guys that start a game for the Browns, Deshaun Watson started the most with 6. Joe Flacco, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, P.J. Walker, Jeff Driscoll. Year after that, Jameis Winston gets 7 starts. Deshaun Watson, 7. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, 2. And Bailey Zappi gets 1. And then last year it was Sanders, Gabriel, and Flacco. Did the Browns miss the boat on their backup quarterback and not getting that like super established backup guy that knows he's not there to compete, but could have held Deshaun Watson's hand and been that sounding board for him in that room when he first got to Cleveland?
I mean, you're paying him so much, it's hard. I mean, and plus the crop of guys out there really weren't that good. And even if you're a really good backup, you're not going to Cleveland. You're just reluctantly going there. I mean, they would have been lucky to get like a Chase Keenum, but he was still trying to start. You know what I mean? You're not getting Chase Daniels. You know what I mean? So I would say no. What they didn't do is they didn't surround him with enough skill position guys. You got to think. And then more importantly, I don't know who initially, made the trade, and obviously the contract came with the trade, is that Deshaun Watson's skill set didn't fit what Stefanski wanted to do.
Right.
So it's the weirdest thing. It's almost like, remember when the Texans signed Brock Osweiler? Like sight unseen? Like, oh, you're a quarterback? All right, we'll trade for you. Well, he didn't fit.
Well, Tommy Armstrong and the Danny Langsdorff offense.
Yeah, he didn't fit it because Kevin Stefanski came from Kirk Cousins, like a West Coast offense. It's in timing. Whereas Deshaun Watson came from like the RPO, kind of more of a
spread RPO.
I would say some Kansas City Chiefs, but just more or less kind of like his offense. Maybe like the Eagles when they were doing a lot with Jalen Hurts. It's 2 different quarterbacks. I'll even take it even a step further. Deshaun Watson didn't even play in that system or anything close to it in college.
No.
So you had 4 years in college, 5 years in the NFL. So that's 9 years. He's never really worked in this. So that's where Cleveland messed up. Just the marriage was never going to work. And then they never really adapted things to him. They said they were going to. You saw an uptick for like 2 weeks, and then they went right back to West Coast.
And they didn't get the NFL equivalent of a prenup.
Right. And then the equivalent of that would have been, okay, we have some guardrails, meaning we have viable receivers, and we kind of played to our strengths. And then every quarterback that did pretty well or decently well, they kind of slowly but surely ushered them out of town. Didn't support them as well.
Yeah.
And
Baker Mayfield being the crowning example of that.
Jameis had a couple games. Yeah, interceptions were high. They refused to
touchdowns were high too, though.
But they didn't. They refused to help him get his eyesight fixed. He's your quarterback. So
LASIK's like what, $250?
It's free. Somebody in Cleveland would have done it for free. No, we don't need that. You don't need to see that wide receiver open. Don't worry about that. You can throw it in the wind kind of blind, but you'll be good.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so
it'll work out.
I think that it was just it was never going to work out well.
Hasn't yet to this point.
Yeah.
Still technically have a year or two left to make it possible, but certainly not trending that way. He is Jay Foreman, Husker Hall of Famer, black shirt, and NFL veteran. I'm Austin Norman. This has been Old School, brought to you by Graham Tire Company, proudly serving the Midwest for more than 75 years. More than just tires, they do all kinds of car and light truck repairs too. From brakes to oil changes, trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. Graham Tire, getting you to the places that matter most. Talk to you tomorrow morning at 9.
Hey, Jake, you know what I love almost as much as the Big Red?
Big scores on the field?
Good guess, but nope.
Big spikes on the court?
Love those too, but I'm thinking food. Like those big, budget-friendly portions you find at Buzzard Billy's.
Now you're talking. I love Buzzard Billy's. I love the shrimp po' boys and the blackened chicken.
You almost always find me enjoying gumbo.
Big plays, big scores, big wins, Big Red. Yep, love them all, especially
those big portions that are budget-friendly. Only at Buzzard Billy's, A-Market.
This is your High School Minute.
Hey everyone, this is Connor Crummy with your Southeast Community College High School Minute. High school football was back in action on Friday night with Lincoln Standing Bear notching their first ever Class A football win in school history by defeating Lincoln Northwest 42-6 behind running back DeAndre Hill's 147-yard 3-touchdown outing. Headlining the slate this week in Class A, on Thursday it's East versus Northeast, Lincoln Northwest versus Omaha Northwest, and North Star on the road taking on Norfolk. On Friday, Lincoln High will head up to Omaha South, Lincoln Southeast will host Millard West, and Lincoln Southwest and Standing Bear will duke it out as well. In Class B, the headliner is Norris, hosting state runner-up Gretna East. And in Class C1, we have a major rivalry on tap as well on Friday, with Lincoln Lutheran and Lincoln Christian squaring off. In softball, Lincoln Southwest seems to pick up right where they left off after winning it all last season, starting off 5-1 to begin this year, with just one loss to Hastings on Friday. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu.